We are live. And hello, everybody that waited for us to start. Thank you for being here today. My name is Bruce Lombardo, and today we're going to talk about 2021 for a little bit. As many of you know, I'm a longtime user of the YouTube and tabletop gaming enthusiast. We'll just say that because that's my hobby. And I always tell people, I want you to get a hobby. I want you to do something that allows you to have time to where you can enjoy yourself. Hey, Punk Waddle, how you doing? Um, the games that we play are there for our enjoyment. Okay. These games are meant to be a source of joy and a reason for us to have social interactions with our friends, and for you and me to not have to have a source of stress when we're supposed to be getting a piece of joy in our life to where we can refresh ourselves. So I'm just I'm putting it out there that as life has gone the way it has, maybe if people could find something that they really like to do, maybe they would have just one less thing dragging them down. And that's a very soft intro. That's really not the intro I wanted to start with, but it's off the top of my head. Everything's off the top of my head. 2021's over, and thank God. Or thank your creator, or thank your mindset. If you're one of those people that's absolutely unable to think that there might be people that do have religion or spirituality in their life, just let's all be thankful for the fact 2021 is over. We get started new and fresh. January of last year started off with pretty much a nothing burger. Nothing really helped. Nothing really happened except we had the nothing burger in DC, which everybody on one side will say it was a protest, and on the other side they're saying it was a terrorist act. I don't really have a dog in that fight. I believe that Washington, D.C. belongs to us, the people, the taxpayers, because that's who paid for it. We paid for everything in this fucking world. We paid for the asphalt. We paid for the traffic lights. We paid the electric bill and the stoplights when they're operating. You fuckers, if you don't recognize that, I don't know what to tell you. But I really think that we shouldn't have had the people gather in D.C. on January 6th, and I would say we could save that gathering for a different day with a different purpose. But that's just me. Because no matter how you assemble over there, the ruling party is going to marshal their forces out there with arms. And at the very least, somebody's going to jail. Unfortunately, Miss Babbitt, we couldn't stop her from dying. But that's just the risk. And I mean, it doesn't have to be a protest where you catch a stray bullet. It could be you sitting in your home and a piece of ice from a passing airplane flies over and the ice melts and falls off the wing and it smashes through your roof and it kills you. You have no idea how long you had to live. Okay. But last year, January, that was a big talk up until February, because I live in Texas. And in February, we got to experience winter, which I, being a former Illinoisan, would rather never experience winter ever again. I'm not saying that I have no use for it. I like the pictures of it. I really like the pictures from Eastern Europe when they have winter, because Hungary and Poland seem to go all out. They go whole hog in the winter, and they make it look like just a wonderland. So, and if you guys want to jump in the chat, I put a link here. There's a link in the chat. Click it. We'll talk. There's really not a whole lot of forbidden subjects either, as you already haven't guessed. But the February SNOVID encounter, I could have done without. I didn't need to experience why I left Illinois, or one of the reasons why I left Illinois. And by day 2 or 3 of the SNOVID, being snowed in my own apartment with my best friend and my girlfriend, I was done. I was absolutely done with winter. I was already done with winter. I moved down here in 2011, and I never wanted to see winter ever again. And I got to experience it one more time in my life in 2021. And today is kind of a cold day. We woke up and it was 29 degrees here. Now I had the faucets cracked because I don't trust people when they say, "Oh, it's been winterized." But right now, the state of Texas has a little committee called ERCOT. ERCOT says they winterized the power grid, so we won't have what happened last year happen again. Don't really know if that's going to be trustworthy. I mean, I didn't see anybody put up any new coal plants, and they're putting up new windmills, which means that, well, there's more shit that's going to break. That's a waste. Those are a waste of money, and I don't really care about what people think on the constructive terms of windmills, because there's a right way to build windmills, and then there's how we put them up in the United States. And this brand, this 3-bladed piece of crap that they put up never pays for itself. It never pays for itself. Do you understand that? From manufacturing day one, it never pays for itself. It is a broken piece of machinery that occasionally works. Hi, the lovely Sherry. But these windmills are putting up all over Texas are fallacy. They're not to help the power grid. They're very, very low tier generation of power at best. So anyway, they're saying that we are winterized. I am fearing that we will have another massive power outage, because if it gets down like what it did last year, then there's nothing really to stop the parts from freezing. The windmills are not in good shape. The windmills break at certain temperatures. The fluids they use become freezing or inert at a certain point. So it's just a, when you're down here and you see these things and winter comes, your butt kind of puckers. There's no other way to put it. You just get worried, like, oh shit. The good thing is that I do have a small generator, so I can keep my refrigerator going. I can keep my coffee maker going. It cost me about $1,500. But the only negative is if the gasoline stations go down, it's not long after that my generator stops. Because I live in an apartment, have to stow it in my storage outside. When I fire it up, it'll have to be outside. When I fire it up, all my neighbors are going to look at me like, that motherfucker. Hopefully everything will go as it's supposed to. That's what I'm worried about. Tabletop games in February of last year continued to go downhill. WotC and Paizo continued to put out press releases, and their authors and writers kept trying to extol the virtues of the left-minded mindset, which really, the artist mindset's not a horrible mindset. It's just removed from reality mindset. Somebody who's removed from reality won't have solutions. They won't know what to do if the power goes out. They don't know what to do whenever they get a flat tire. They don't know how to change it. They don't know how to fire up a generator. They typically, and I'm not saying not all of them, but I mean, the majority of people are indoctrinated or mentored into just being a victim completely all the time. I know this because I lived in Illinois for 30 years. This is what I was taught. If something happens, you need to call the police, or if your house catches fire, you call the fire department. Don't be proactive and buy 10 or 12 fire extinguishers. That way you can have a way to get out of a room filled with papers. Somebody who thinks ahead of times will realize, okay, I could use this fire extinguisher for about 30 seconds, which is enough time for me to knock down the flames and get past this little roaring blaze of all my D&D character sheets from 1988, 1989, my junior years of childhood before I hit my senior year of high school. And if anybody, like I said, wants to chat, please jump in here. I'm not begging for a panelist, but if you guys want to talk about 2021 and your experiences, I'd be more than happy to. During the SNOVID that we had, we would get on Wednesday it stopped, but Monday and Tuesday they had like 5 or 10 minutes of power that they'd give us every hour. Well, Wednesday everything froze and we had no more power, and that was everybody. So I was not able to warm up coffee or warm up leftovers in my fridge. My roommate at the time, who is no longer a roommate, God bless him, but he would stand there with the door open on the fridge, and I'd be like, "What the fuck you got the door open for?" He's like, "It's not like it's cold in here." And he was right. It was down to 47 degrees. I'm like, dude, close that door. And we pulled the beer out of the fridge, so just set it outside and let it naturally chill like that. It was pretty miserable. I moved out of Illinois because winter seemed to hamstring the local area I was at, and I mean winter does that on by and large for most cities up until the point when they can get their snowplows going. And once the snowplows are going, things start to return to normal. We tell ourselves until your front wheel drive vehicle is unable to get out of a driveway because somebody put a 4-foot mound of snow all across the driveway you've got to shovel out. Nice little bar stool, isn't it? Kind of cool. So I had the enjoyment of living in Illinois and learning certain things about how you're not supposed to run a state or how you're not supposed to run a city. My father was mayor of the town when I was a high school kid. So all 4 years of high school, my dad was mayor. It wasn't like I had to be a really good boy. I didn't get in a whole lot of trouble as is. I was too stupid to craft up a scheme that would get me in trouble. I just obeyed. So I did what I could. And we made it through high school by the skin of my teeth. I don't remember much about March. I remember going back to work the week after SNOVID in February. It was a week of Valentine's Day. Hail Man of War, neighbor of the beast. And I remember going over my trucks, and most of the fittings had broken or blasted off because the pressure inside was a little bit warmer than the air outside. So we had to clean that mess up. That happens. Just get used to it. If you have equipment, wintertime is not your friend. So once we got everything rolling again, it worked out a lot better for us. But that the week of the 21st was miserable. Once we had that knocked out, once we were able to start proceeding, I remember March very briefly, but Watsy kept putting out these really bad ideas, talking about how we need to have more inclusivity in D&D. And I thought, this is crazy. I mean, at its core, D&D teaches you about things like how to get along with other people, how to put aside your differences and be functional. It's supposed to do that. It really is supposed to do that because the game tells you in the rules or in the fluff next to the rules about elves and dwarves and how they usually don't get along well. And for other people saying, well, I need like 72 races for the game to be an actual viable game, I really disagree with your mentality on that because you're you're not even going into the subset of the various human races. You're not dividing things up. In fantasy books, they have different human races along with the sub races for elf and dwarf. Punkwaddle, being one of the kindest people in the chat, he says the Snovid apocalypse was a little interesting for me. I had just lost my job at the end of January. I'm so sorry to hear that. Without getting into details to where like a New York Times reporter could drive to your house and like give you a how dare you be in my chat. What town do you live in? Because certain towns fared out a little better than others. Like I heard it wasn't so bad in Addison, but I heard that Dallas was miserable. I heard Dallas was really bad. And for those of you who don't know, Addison's just a little suburb in DFW Metro, but they tend to spend their money a little better on their town budget. So when the town required things, Addison wasn't in the worst shape. Addison was able to try to limp along, and then like everybody else, by Wednesday, when we were all tired of looking outside and seeing snow and constant gray, by Wednesday everybody was without power. All the windmills had stopped working. Thanks, fuckers. Thanks for bringing us windmills. We could have had coal-fired power plants, and you bastards fucked us. I know coal is a fossil fuel. I also know coal has gone through so many refinements. The tech for coal is great. When you look at it, it's almost as clean as natural gas. Eastish, Texas, north of Houston, in that quadrant of the state. Okay. Yeah, I was in Channelview of October of 2019. August of 2019, I was in Channelview, and I was not a fan of what I saw over there. I'm a snob. I'm just gonna say this. Uh, when you build a highway, build it above the grade, build it above the water table. Yeah, not too happy with Abbott during the time. I'm still not too happy with Abbott. And the fucker's going around saying we're going to be fine, we're going to be fine. And I don't see any new coal-fired power plants, so I'm thinking that Beto O'Rourke is going to have his first victory because somebody's going to run with that. And the TV loves to be little communist helpers. They love to help the communists on television. So Beto O'Rourke is going to get an easy win if we have a power outage. One fucking woman dies. If one old lady dies during winter 2022, Abbott will be shoved out. And I'd like to also repeat, because some of you might not know or might know, but there's a link in the chat. Scroll up a little bit. I've got the StreamYard link right there. You don't have to type in if you want to just talk. You don't have to have a camera. You can just have your little avatar there. You don't even have to have an avatar. Just have good sound. That's all I ask. So all these problems that Texas had, and I just did not see it. I did not see. I don't see Texas having a smooth winter if we have cold weather, because they forced us to put up fucking windmills everywhere and mothball our coal plants, even though coal is reliable. It makes no sense. Perfect coal power plant on the south side of town. They put $5 million into it in 2015. What do we do now? Oh, we just shut it down. Punkwaddle says, I grew up in westish suburbia land of Houston footprint, so I know a few things about the area. If my first experience in Houston was not trying to navigate Houston whenever it was trying to flood, I would probably like Houston a lot more. Being that I drive, my personal, my daily driver is a Honda Civic. So when it gets about 3 inches of water on the ground, I'm not happy. Oh, God. I don't have one of them pole position cars. You remember pole position, the cartoon from 1988, 89, where the cars could go in water and on water and they were watertight and they could just continue to function. They never had to work on them. They were fucking miracle cars. Yeah, my car's not like that. I need to put about 5K in it because of body work. Just, you can't park your car in a HEB parking lot without getting somebody to run into your car and, oh, that's a nice new vehicle. He's got the paper tag. Let me dent his door. Let me dent his front end. I know that's what you have insurance for. I don't want to spend the money in insurance. It'll jack my rate up a bit. So Houston got big and gross. Plus, Houston is designed so the roadways flood before the houses theoretically, and roads don't work well in flooding. Yeah, I realized that. I was driving from Channelview to Katy during the middle of a flood in August of 19, and my little car, I really heard it. The front spoiler has to be suspended by zip ties, like about 20% of the other Honda Civics in San Antonio and the rest of Texas, especially in Houston, because the roads are ill kept and is that a discarded semi truck tire? Just leave it in the middle of the lane. It'll rip shit right off your car, and it's kind of cute. But my next vehicle will be a truck. I'm going back to pick 'em up trucks. I'm gonna have to get some money together and buy one and put a manual shift in it. I don't do well with automatics. No, I don't trust the engine. Engines don't work well with me. I need the engine to be dictated by my foot. I need the transmission gear to be dictated by my left foot and my right hand, and I can do that a lot better. So my poor little car, I ripped off the front spoiler because I went driving through somebody's alleyway, and then we all got stuck on an underpass where the water was rising. So I was able to go in reverse onto the shoulder and drive in reverse in that same section of 7 or 8 lanes of traffic on the shoulder in reverse to get to a ramp to drive off the ramp and say, fuck the interstate. I'm not saying I don't like Houston, but I just want to drag the city leaders out there, the ones that take all your fucking money and taxes and municipality bullshit. Yeah, I just want to beat the shit out of them until my hands are fucking broke. Hi, Keely Chow. How you doing? Eesh, that'll do. I ended up with a Honda CRV. I have a couple more inches of clearance for puddles. Yeah, those give about 8 inches of clearance. And I'm sorry, I just get furious whenever I think about, like, I'm here and I'm paying you money and all you do is ruin my damn town. Hello, Keely Chow. How are you? I don't mean to sound like I'm in a rant mode, and I'm trying not to focus on the negative. Had some really good RPGs come across my desk last year. Keely Chow says, Houston traffic is just like the Texans. It sucks. Wow. Okay. The Texans, JJ's good. He carries the whole team. The entire team of the Texans is carried by JJ. What else can I say? I mean, we have JJ. Thank God for JJ Wyatt. Keely Chow, you didn't go into a bad stream, Keely. It's good over here. We now the games I got a chance to really get into last year. I played a couple table games of a game called Swords and Wizardry, and it reminds me of like the first release of advanced D&D, but without the benefit of having a Dragon magazine available to buy and get some extra rules to flush it out. I mean, it is about as bare bones as you can get. It reminds me a lot of First Ed AD&D, but with like this is before their first reprinting, the second printing. Okay, this is like the 76 version of D&D. And some people don't mind that. I bought it because I love the company that makes it. They make my favorite adventures. That's Frog God Games. And played some of that. As a player, your options are kind of limited. You can fit your character sheet on a 3.5 or 3 by 5 index card. Oh man, Keeley goes in with it. The City, the Texans, and the Rockets are all paying for the Astros World Series victory in 2017. Hello, Ironcaster. How you doing, sir? Ironcaster, you just showed up. Let me put this in the chat underneath you. I've mentioned this a couple times. I'm not begging for it, but if you want to jump in, if you want to talk RPGs or what happened in 2021, there's your link. Old School Essentials. Really, Shadzar, this is a stream where Makani is. We did our last show of season 5 last week, and he takes about 2 weeks off to have time for himself and do things. He wants to have a couple Sundays where he's not beholden to do 2 hours on camera. And I'm like, I'll raise my algorithm. I'll take that. So that's what we're doing today. Yep. Season 6 starts in 2 weeks. Ironcaster says going to clean up here a bit, and then you can hop on in. Okay. That's fine. The Old School Essentials game is basically if you've got the option to buy that in person, or if that becomes part of like a deal where you can get a hold of the OSE and some adventures that are written for the 1990s, 1980s D&D games. And I say that AD&D and basic D&D, back in the day, they used to say these games are very different. Now, as things have gone on and we've got the benefit of time to measure other games against them, I never thought that AD&D and D&D were that different from the outset. I really didn't. There was like one game had an AC of 9 being the worst you could have. The other one had like an AC of 10 that you could have as your worst. But really, those two games are very similar. They both have differing numbers required for various classes to raise your level. So they're not like the new 3rd edition engine or the game since then where you have a homogenized list for here's the levels required or the points required to raise your level. And that's 3rd edition, 4th edition, 5th edition. Nobody's going to stop by your house and, have a pistol drawn, lean up against your screen door, be like, "Are you kids playing a modern game in there? You better put that down and play 5th edition." No, nobody's going to do that. Nobody's going to do that. That's just a crappy, stupid fascist dream right there. And don't think that it's my dream. I want you to play what you want. I want you to play the games that make you happy. Now, in a Discord yesterday, I did kind of piss some people off because I said, man, I had a chance to read Strixhaven. First looked at a physical copy for a while. Then I looked at the internet copy. And I made a really poor joke. But I said, I almost want to dress up in a 1940s German officer costume, get a lit pipe, big stack of these shitty Kickstarter RPGs behind me, the ones that are all woke, and they don't advocate for anything like fun or meritocracy, but they're all just like, we all get our own safe space bullshit. I just want to just set them on fire and, just do it for the memes. It'd be a really good piece of art. I said this in Discord and really upset some people, I guess. But being as my mom's side of the family is the literal Heinz 57, including a 4% result of Ashkenazi Jew. I do understand certain things can be said and taken out of context, but I'm also saying that I really don't care. I want people to have access to buy whatever games they want, but god damn it, there's so many shitty games coming out on the market. Games like OSE, or is it Darkest Dungeon? Or even, Basic World Cyclopedia. Those books can get swallowed up by this glut of really bad RPG books that are coming out. And when you find a game that doesn't ask you about your pronouns in the first two sentences of you cracking open the player's handbook, you're gonna think like, oh my god, this is it. This is the holy grail. And I also might add that Swords and Wizardry didn't give a shit about my pronouns either. Here's how you figure out your hit points, and then you look at weapon damages, and you're like, if I get in combat, I'm dead. I'm so dead. But I made one of my associates upset with that statement about me in the officer uniform with a pile of burning books behind me. It's like, it's not like I'm burning, the Bible or any religious text. I'm burning some very shitty written, horribly written textbooks that have no capacity to pass even the MLA standards. And now we're writing books, that are approved by Twitter, which means none of those books will sell. It's not like these books would have gone off and like gone into a good home anyway. So for those people that got upset that I would do such a thing, I just want to let you know I absolutely would do such a thing, because I don't like Bolsheviks. Bruce, how can you say that? Oh, pretty easy. The same way where you're like, I want pie. And I think everybody, if you want pie, you should be entitled to pie. Even if you're fat, go ahead and get some pie, but then afterwards go out for a nice big run. Or be like me and just decide to go take out all the garbage from your apartment. And while you're at it, Bruce, how dare you cast aspersions on teen drama Identity Party? Yeah, no shit, right? There's a Sherry pointed me in the direction of looking at Scythe, and I'm waiting for Thursday because I'm supposed to be over at the game store Thursday night to look at that. The owner's got a copy of it, and it looks like a really good game. Unfortunately, there's these other games out like Wizards of the Coast, the people who continue to put out bad versions of D&D or consecutively worse versions of the D&D before. And a lot of people are like, "What? 5th edition so much better than 4th edition?" Maybe for you it is. That's fine. The one thing I'll say about 5th edition is that to me it looks like the identity the IP version of D&D. Like, okay, we have an edition of D&D we can publish anything for now. Although they'll never produce Dark Sun. They will never make a Dark Sun product ever for 5th edition D&D. You will get it only from a third-party maker who doesn't care about the heat, because if they are true to Dark Sun, there's going to be slavery in it. There's going to be sexual bondage. There's going to be, not for you fetish fuckers, but there's going to be bondage. There's going to be servitude. There's going to be slavery. There's going to be all these hot button topics, which aren't fucking hot button topics. They're things that happen in our own real world, but apparently Twitter doesn't get that involved and be like, we really have to stop this atrocity in insert Middle Eastern country here where slavery is still going on in 2021. No. They're going to just continue to badger you though for playing Advanced Dungeons and Dragons 1st or 2nd edition, using the combat matrix, or addressing your rivals at the game stores. That fucker doesn't know what Thaco is. You know, how dare you know these things? How dare you read the sacred texts? But that's just the problem with modern society is that we have too much weight that we trust Twitter with. Multi Gunman, how you been, sir? Doing fairly well for myself. My co-host Makini is on vacation, which means he's in his locale, and he's probably drawing up a very shapely young thing next to a car, getting his Makini Type R all set. He's really putting some hope in Twitch. I'll just say that. I'm not a big Twitch guy, but if he wants to use it, I hope it works out for him very well. Then last year we also found out that if you like to kill orcs in Dungeons and Dragons, you're a racist, which that made me kind of think that Wizards never wants my money again. I mean, wasn't the point of D&D back in the day to just get experience points, level up, and get a cooler character than what you had to start with? I thought that's what it was. Apparently, Wizards of the Coast doesn't want you to do that because all the ways that we used to do it was we'd go out in the day, find orcs, kobolds, and goblins, and just slay them indiscriminately. And occasionally, you'd find a good goblin, or kobold, a hobgoblin, a goblin, or kobold or orc. You'd find a good one, and it'd be an NPC that'd be around for a couple sessions before he got found out by his tribe and was killed, sometimes in front of the party. Oh, we got to kill these people. They killed my buddy Thug. They killed Thug. Oh, no. But Wizards of the Coast completely forgot about what it was like to be a Tolkien-esque reader and understand what value it is if you like the tribe of elves you're part of, or if the tribe of dwarves you're from. They never focus on the inner species conflict there. They're defending the group that shows up in 30 to 300 that's ready to enslave your whole community, that's bigger and buffer. Yeah, I don't want to be accused of being a prior of Gygax. I don't give a shit. If you guys want to glop me in with JSG and DM Condor, that's fine. I know the truth. But the thing is that orcs were written to be a bad guy, and that was a Tolkien-esque creation. There was never an orc before the Hobbit. And so we have to go back to the source and figure out what did orcs do really well. Well, they raided and they beat the shit out of other people. They did that really well. And the Drow, WotC went out there and they went flying this flag last year, and they said if you're beating up on Drow, you're racist. Well, if you've ever played a game where Drow are typically doing Drow things in first or second edition, even third ed had this, where the Drow would raid communities, kidnap people. T-shirted historian, how you doing? Hey. If you have time, I'd like you to jump in. If you don't, I understand. But the Drow were typically slavers, and they were the entire reason why the fire giants were causing so much harm to the communities in the original Against the Giants series. So you had to go down, descent into the depths of the earth. Have fun with that. And no, Shadzar. They do belong in D&D, AD&D proper. The Drow are a source of evil because of Lolth. And I believe it was Gary that wrote this. I'm not trying to say I'm a prior of Gygax, but I believe Gary wrote that they had a terrible demon spider mistress that they prayed to. And that's the entire reason why the Giants were on the rampage. It's why you had the Giant Against the Giant series. You finally find out that the Drow are pulling the strings. The Drow are like that. They're little Dr. Mindbenders. They're not quite as strong as humans, so they have to develop their intellectual capacities to be above that. They were very good at being bad guys. And now Wizards of the Coast doesn't want to talk about that. I don't understand. The Greyhawk Dark Elves and Shadow Elves. What was the Shadow Elves dealt in? What book was that? I'm pretty certain you still remember. But I'm just a fan of tradition. Mystara, yeah, I think Mystara had the Shadow Elves. I don't remember them being Dark Elves in Mystara, especially in Hollow World. For those of you who don't know about Hollow World was a D&D setting that took place in the basic D&D setting of Mystara. And you'd go down in the ground and you'd find these large vaults and you would enjoy adventures underground. You wouldn't find vampires there or things that were light sensitive. Didn't typically have to fight orcs because orcs read -1 in bright light. The underground had its own sun, basically. And it was a very unusual type of game. It was a lot of fun to play, but it felt like something that you would do Jules Verne-esque expeditions with. And it's exactly what that felt like. You were delving into the depths of the earth, having this almost a steampunk fantasy adventure. Lots of fun. And we played a little bit of Mystara. Mystara was about as old school as it got because every map I ever saw from Mystara, it was hex maps. Hex. I love hex maps. There's one whole wall in my living room that's got a hex map on it. Come on. There we go. So, your brother played more tabletop campaigns than you did. It happens, Punk Waddle. Guys, it's tier 13. Okay. I have to look that up on Amazon tonight. Or Noble Knight Games. Guys, tier 13 was Shadow Elves. Okay. Yeah, I like the Drow. The Drow were a fun bad guy race to vex the players with. Because you would hit them with magic, and half the time the magic would slide off them because they had magic resistance, and that sort of thing was just a bane to your existence. It was a lot of fun. So, no, WotC just kind of ruined the game. And then in August, right before I went off to the hospital, a friend of mine showed me that he got this book, the Dungeons and Dragons Cookbook, which had some really good recipes in there. However, um, it felt like they were catering to a group of people that the group had never sold a Dungeons and Dragons book to before. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're trying to sell books to people that aren't fans. They're trying to make fans of the D&D brand name, but not getting them to sit down and play. And I'm not even certain exactly what Hasbro was doing with that, or what Wizards of the Coast was doing, because they know who buys their games. If Wizards of the Coast were to produce a middle or high fantasy group of campaign books where you had definable good guys, defined bad guys, you had people that were questionable, you had split it into 17 or 24 different factions, and you had various ways for people to interact with the game world and for them to grow their characters. And the game world was not friendly. If it was difficult, you would actually have a bestseller on your hands. It would be a great way to introduce people into what is D&D. What's going on there, Rosetta? Hey, there's Ironcaster.
Hey. Just gonna get myself set up here a little bit.
Sure.
So, I have been working on a Alhoon, or really, I just wanted a mind flare.
I like Alhoons.
But yeah, no, to kind of piggyback off what you were saying, these are people who they're trying to appeal Dungeons and Dragons to people who like the idea of Dungeons and Dragons.
They don't. They want to turn it into something else or bastardize it into something else. Rosetta,
much like Marvel, into a life brand.
What the crap did I miss?
Oh, just your, the usual complaining about the state of things.
Like, we really enjoy the early games of TSR, first ed, second ed, basic D&D. But the direction they took themselves in 2000 really kind of put them on the, like, oh God, they're in the yellow. They're in that worrisome spot.
No, Shad. No, I never blocked you, which means YouTube is fucking around with things again. You're not the first person this has happened with.
Yeah, Shazar, don't take it out on Rosetta. This has happened.
I've had it happen to several people, and it took months for it to start letting us see each other again. I don't know why. It pisses me off when it happens.
The main thing that really shoved me away from WotC was in 2007. Travis is like, Shazar's so used to getting blocked nowadays. He'll be fine.
And yeah, but not from me. I'm not much of a blocker unless they're actual assholes and trolls. Or certain, backstabbing, pain in the ass little slut-faced whorebags.
Not that you're talking about anyone in particular.
Not that I'll name on air. I mean...
Shadzar, it's not just you, buddy. It's not just you.
For the record, I legitimately have no idea who you're talking about, so I'm going to leave it that way.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I think I know who she's talking about or what group of harpies she's talking about, but I'm okay. I don't have to name names. You already know.
No, I don't name names. I think it's unfair to do that to people because it makes people have to choose sides.
I don't want them to choose sides. I want to be an option for you to select. I want to have Bruce on a stream, or I want to have Bruce on a panel, or I want to listen to Bruce. If I name names, then I'm a dickhead.
Yeah,
I've already done that once.
That's how I am. I don't want people to feel like they can't talk to either. I don't want them to feel like they have to choose between people.
Yeah. I already know what will happen. I won't get chosen. The person I'm talking about, 60,000 fucking subscribers. I'm at 380. So, and the thing is that they want to choose to disregard the entire before 5th edition D&D game people. That's their choice. But there's an entire group of people that like D&D first ed, second ed, third ed. And when 5th ed came out, we were like, I already have a full shelf of this stuff. I'm not buying it now. So the thing is that I have no need to cause more division than what I already have. I've got my problems already set up.
I will complain a bit to my friends that certain people annoy me, but I won't name names or give specific situations or times that make it obvious who I'm talking about, and if I'm on air, because I don't think that that's a classy way to treat people.
No, it's not. Check your pork chops there, Shadzar. Make me fucking hurt whenever you burn your pork chops. Just like anybody that doesn't play 5th edition makes J. Scott Garibay cry. This guy got on the internet like 2.5 months ago. And he said, if you're not playing 5th edition, you're really hurting the entire brand of tabletop role-playing games. And I'm like, what? Did he just say that? And sure enough, he did. He even repeated it and got a boost in popularity. And a lot of people
I'm really getting sick of all this divisive crap where if you're not with me, you're against me. How dare you not think like me shit. You know, my opinion really is anybody on either side who's doing that can go screw themselves anally with a red hot rusty poker.
Exactly, Punk Waddle. And I'm guilty of doing that from time to time. I try not to. But I really think
we're only human.
I think WotC, like I have to stop giving them any sort of play because I don't want them to think that they live in my head rent free. They don't.
Just kind of humor me for a minute. Who is WotC?
Wizards of the Coast.
Oh, okay. It's like I hear people say that every now and then. I'm like, I don't know is this a person?
No, well, it is a couple people over there, but they are not the creators they were 10 years ago. Especially not the creators they were 25 years ago. They're not that same group of people. Although I will say the Giant Lands box set, when I have had a chance to read some PDF work of it, I was disappointed with it. And I thought it would be a new type of product where, like, even the new TSR people, at one point, they were behind it, and they were saying they were going to help produce it, and they distanced themselves about 2 months before release, and people have started to get it now, and now it looks really bad. Because I don't know if it looks really bad for TSR3. They already look bad enough as is, but that product is terrible. I don't know who edited it, but somebody didn't edit it. If that makes sense. You have a lot of pronoun silliness in it. You have a lot of non-Chicago, not even the MLA style of editing, which helps you because if you have a well-edited book, it just flows. It goes into your head, and you understand concepts. But consume product. Get excited for next product. Yeah, I love that. Jay said that on Red Letter Media, and that's the Disney method for you to get excited about the next Marvel movie. Consume product. Get excited for next product. Now they have Disney Plus. Have you guys watched all of Hawkeye yet?
You know how much Disney I've actually watched this year?
I can tell you how much I haven't.
I watched one episode of WandaVision, or rather last year, one episode of WandaVision, and then I watched Spider-Man. That's it.
Not a single new Disney property in years.
Yeah, ever since Captain Marvel. Ever since Captain Marvel came out, I haven't watched a single Disney product. I'm doing my best to financially choke them, and I can't do much more than what I'm doing, which is not buying their stuff. And that's kind of the same thing I'm doing with Wizards of the Coast. That's the same thing I'm going to have to do that with WizKids, because WizKids is just as bad as Wizards. They make all the miniatures that I've got on the desk here. If I would have known how,
I've got my bag.
Yeah, if I would have known how bad they were, if I would have seen their Twitter, I wouldn't have bought all this. I'll just say that.
Oh no, how bad is their Twitter?
It's pretty bad. Their bad is their Twitter is they, like, you'd think they were. Well, I guess they are. They've got people in Seattle. Shadzar's like, I haven't watched a Marvel movie since Iron Man 3, and I was done. That would be the movie to get you out of Marvel Cinematic Universe. Shadzar put a new toy in my Discord. It works cure paint on minis too, speed drying times. Travis says The Last Jedi was the line for him. Man, I'm glad I didn't watch that movie. All Ironcaster, do you do a lot of miniature painting or no?
I've been doing a little bit. It's just I've been trying to, or part of my plan for this year is to get into more of my back catalog, and I can show you in a minute just how much I've got right beside me.
Hold on here.
But yeah, I like some tabletops, and every now and then I'll just pick something up on a whim.
That's my stack of stuff to
That's
do.
perfect. There, that's a nice. Just kind of show. Oh wow! Oh, I like the RK Outpost mug.
Yeah, and the Master Grift for Fat Steven Seagal right behind it. I've got some Ratkin over there, Ratlings from the Skaven army.
I am putting together. Took a little bit of this Underdark Gray, added in some solid white. And I'm gonna give this kind of that kind of squid-like flesh tone for the Alhoon.
Alhoons are interesting. I don't think I've ever put one against the party though. Punk Waddle's like, I have a ton of gunpla to build and try painting through. It's a bigger canvas though. And Shadjar's like, no, you want to airbrush the Gundams. Travis says, I love Skaven. Punk Waddle says, true story, I really need a whole airbrush setup and a room to build it in. Yeah. Those are impressive. It's a Gundam on YouTube has a really nice setup for his gunpla.
Oh yeah.
Sorry about that. For some reason, I just couldn't stop trying to cough right now.
You good?
Yeah. That's me. This stuff happens every winter. I'm a mess. I've been traveling for 2 days. See?
Wow.
Yeah, a lot more to deal with, too.
No.
So for right now, I'm trying to draw.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Typically, Ironcaster, I will be in a stream of Machini Live or Machini Draws. And Rosetta started doing that with us.
Doing what? What'd I do?
No, you'll be in the stream with me and Machini and Mayad's Mama Bear.
Yeah. I love doing those streams with you guys.
I enjoy it. Enjoy it quite a bit.
I'm just trying to figure a few things out here.
Edgar's like, I can't speak. I have a special limited anniversary Zero Wing still in shrink. And it was a Gunpla that got Punk Waddle and Gundam, which got him into the quartering, which got me into all this corner of the YouTube.
That is great, man.
Yeah.
It's a fun rabbit hole to go down of all the mechs and robots and beep bops and boops. I've been playing through Super Robot Wars the last day or two.
What's that on?
The newest one in that is on. You can pick it up on Steam, and it's effectively akin to Super Smash Brothers, where you are combining a lot of different mecha franchises together. Like I couldn't even imagine trying to much of a similar way to Smash Brothers, trying to get all the licenses together.
Have you ever tried a wet palette iron caster?
I have not yet. That's going to be something I'll be trying this year.
I recommend them.
Keep your.
These are a godsend. You get a little case, a sponge, some
Oh, okay.
paper, and then it sounds weird, but the day you put on a new paper, you boil the sponge and you boil the paper, and
You're
then you put
blowing it,
the
huh?
yeah you boil it.
Blow it
You
harder,
boil it,
baby. Blow it harder, baby.
not boil. You boil. You get them to where they can absorb a lot of stuff and they stay wet longer, so you're not going through as much paint. And it cost you about $20.
One of my local shops has a wet brush palette, and I'll probably go pick that up here later this month and try that out.
I'm gonna try to
Thank
figure out.
Waddle, I've been there before, man. I've lost my job at points, and you made it through. You got your new job now.
This book is so dead as a sketchbook. Holy crap! It got mauled a lot, and the hinge broke. So now it's loose drawing pages. I mean, it's not like I'm getting rid
That happens.
of it. Oh crap!
Not feeling that.
Oh, I'm just having one of those days. I feel it. You know.
Shazer's like, I have a wet palette, but it's a cheap one. I have a blister from a GW Mini, a sponge from Dollar Tree, and some perforated parchment paper.
Sounds like that'll do the trick for you.
As long as you're able to get it done, that's the main thing.
One
All
sec
right, so I
here.
need to come up with a good color for his eyes next.
The Alhoon?
Yeah.
You have like a faded purple. If you have miniatures or Reaper paint, try amethyst purple.
Okay, let me go through my little collection here. I've got a few of the Reaper mini paints.
Punk Waddle, do the Gunpla as a giveaway for like 1,000 viewers. That way, or 1,000 subscribers. That way, you've got a good
base.
a good base or foundation to start from.
2022 is the year of the backlog. Let's get through it.
Yeah, I've got plenty of things on Amazon Prime I still need to finish.
Well, I have two purples here. I have a Twilight purple and a from the D&D line.
That D&D line, if you can get 2 drops of that and 1 drop of white, or 2 drops of white and 1 drop of that purple, I think you could mix that in. That would be about the right shade for the amethyst. And for those of you that aren't sure as to what we're doing here, this is just elementary art school stuff. We're blending some paints to get a color that our palette currently doesn't have.
Yeah. By the way, Shad, check your Discord DMs. I'm just kind of laughing at something. It's kind of ironic.
Oh man, this purple is not well blended.
Really?
Purples are notoriously difficult.
May have to do 4 drops of white in there. Is that bleach linen that you got there?
This is Reaper's pure white or
Okay.
solid white.
When you're working on purple, remember 2 things. Red is very difficult to get to stay down and layer, and blue is extremely easy to get it to stay down and layer usually. And when you're mixing the 2 together, you need more red than you would think to make the same color blend.
Punkwaldo, you don't need a good desk. I have $20 folding tables from Walmart.
$20? You paid more than I did. I mean,
Well, this was at the start of the pandemic.
This desk cost me nothing. I got pretty lucky because where I work, they were upgrading a bunch of their office equipment, their office, and so they were like, "Hey, you want some desk?" And I'm not about to turn down some free furniture.
No.
I know several people who are working on things like cinder blocks with a table across them and shit like that. Whatever works.
But yeah, you don't need to spend a lot of money for your furniture on this. I think the most I actually spent was for the lamp that I use, this magnifying light. Yes, I cheat.
I need. I should probably see about getting a second light for this side of the desk.
By the way, can I comment that, Bruce, considering everything, how am I not getting a wrench from you yet?
You don't have a wrench?
Mm-mm. And no, Shad's right. I can't see Shad either, and I don't know why. I know I never blocked Shad, and I know it wasn't in my block list last time I went through it.
All right. Type something there, Rosetta.
Okay.
All right, good.
So,
Good deal.
okay, so because these pages broke off weird and are kind of not functioning correctly on this book, and it's hard to see and function.
Which book
Yeah.
is that?
This sketchbook I had.
Ah,
So what I'm literally doing, so I can still do what I was doing and have some visibility, is taping it to my foldable laptop tablet and using it as a backlight to help me draw on it, so I can use the pages. Whatever works, right?
It gets the job done.
yeah, that's the main thing. Can you work with it?
Oh yeah.
That's actually, I was thinking about that's actually a good little something to tweet out.
What?
2022 is the year of the backlog.
I don't know. I don't focus on which years are which because I don't like that holiday that changes them.
That's understandable.
Actually, that's putting it mildly, considering some of the stuff Bruce has heard from me the last few days, isn't it?
No, I mean, well, I can understand it. When I was 17, one of my best friends, there was an individual that he bought a piece of property from my neighbor, and he moved his farm equipment into this literal old gas station next to my house when I was like 14. So we had to divvy up our driveway because it spilled into the back of where he was at. And so I had to kind of learn how to be a nicer person, how to let people use their property, etc. But this guy, he was pretty chill with us once he figured out that I had a Thunderbird, which is why I needed some space to park it. Big 78 model. And so he was pretty nice with us after that. After I turned 15, things chilled out quite a bit. This is 1990. And his son started coming over more and more to help his dad out. And so him and I started hanging out more because it's like 15, 20 feet from the front door. Hey, Jeff's over there. I'm going to go hang out with Jeff. I'll see you guys in a minute. I'll see you guys in about 2 hours. So me and Jeff would sit there and talk. Well, Jeff started getting ready for the Army, and he started doing all the big things to work out. And I started working out with him when I was 15, 16 years of age, and it was good. I had a workout buddy. And then turning 16 to 17, around that time, 92, Jeff went off and he did his military stuff. And then it wasn't long after that, New Year's Eve, I believe he died in a drunken car crash. And he was all right. He was sober, but he got tossed out of this truck about 30 or 40 feet. And worse yet, the parents decided that, they wanted us to see what would happen if you didn't wear a seatbelt and you got hit by a drunk driver, which I don't know why they did that to the rest of us, but they showed us how ugly death could be. So there was no makeup work done on his face. And it was probably the most traumatizing event of my teenage years. Worse than my uncle dying, worse than anything else. Seeing somebody that I worked with and worked out with, and him and I were just really good. We got close. He was dating a friend of mine that she lived up the road. So, like, in every aspect of my life, his absence caused a huge void. And that's just one of those painful things you get before you grow up and turn 18. And I get it. New Year's Eve kind of sucks. Punk says, question for model builders. Do you automatically wash your figures while on the runner, or do you work the pieces in, wash it if you're going to paint them? Go ahead, Ironcaster. What do you do?
Honestly, I don't get into too much of the beyond just building the base kit. Though I would say if you're going to go about cleaning it, you're probably going to want to take them apart first.
Yeah.
Because that way you can be a little bit more flexible. You can kind of move the parts around a bit if you want to go so far as to scrub them, or if you're just going to throw them into a plastic tub and let them soak with some, I guess, dishwater.
Yeah, we that's what I usually do. I'll put a little bit of Dawn in there, put some near boiling water in the pot, and then just let them sit there for about 45 minutes to an hour. I've got a toothbrush that I use to lightly brush away any loose crap. If there's a seam that's too obscene, I'll cut the seam out. We've got 7 or 8 of these in the room. So I've got the tools to do that, but yeah, I always try to make the pieces to where they're as they're supposed to be for the figurine.
So what's up there? A corner shelf?
Say again?
You got their corner bookshelf?
Corner bookshelf.
Nice.
This is from Arcane Libraries set from Mantic Games. And for those of you that want to play a miniature-based game but don't want to contribute to a company that's woke, I would say go look at Mantic Games and look at their products. They have some very high-quality miniatures. They do really good work with minis, but they've not gotten involved with politics on their Twitter or anything that I know of as of yet. Looking for another figurine of theirs. Here we are.
I'm looking them up on my other screen.
See, everybody else has got 2 screens. I just have my laptop and my phone.
I have more than that.
Oh, they've got the terrain crate.
Yeah, the terrain crates are what you want.
I've been eyeing up some of that. I just had to, place the name with the.
I never have either T-shirted historian. I've never seen the mold release oils in any of mine, but I've only been doing this since like 2016. So maybe that was something that was endemic before that, like in the early stage, like first edition Grenadier miniatures.
Well, a lot of it can boil down to just how well the molds are actually maintained. Yeah. Because if they're kind of banged around a bit and they get their wear and tear, you'll start to see imperfections within the molds themselves, which can become a very standard across multiple figures. I work with some various molds at my job, so I get used to dealing with some of that.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Actually, I've seen that myself. So.
T-shirt historian, I really liked your interview with Stephen Chenault, by the way. For those of you that don't know who Stephen Chenault is, he is a designer and pretty much the head of Troll Lord Games. One of my favorite newer companies that's out there. Troll Lord puts out a product that feels a lot like second edition AD&D, but without the non-weapon proficiencies. And half my audience just was like, what? Troll Lord Games puts out a really good game called Castles and Crusades. For those of you that want to play a game that is easy to port to, it works.
Yes, T-shirt. I'm still working on the same Malhoun.
My co-host from Usual Sundays is in the chat. McKinney Draws. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Like I said, he's working on a Twitch stream, and he's got a really neat idea for McKinney Type R racing. Really want to keep going with his little story he's got. So it reminds me of like a Need for Speed game, but Need for Speed games haven't been what I wanted to play since like Carbon. Punkwaddle, do you run D&D? Wait for him to answer. Now, Ironcrafter, you said you've got an Alhoun there. Most people wouldn't know the difference between an Alhoun and an Neolithid, but your statement there told me that one, you're a gamer, which makes me happy, and two, how often do you guys get to play?
So I am in a 5th edition game that gets together once a month, and we have been going for over a year now with it. And one of the premises that when we were asked what do we want to do with a game, I had said I wanted to do some like a settlement building, like a city build, which it's taken us forever to finally get to a point where we have that.
Ignore the censorship bars a sec.
Oh my.
Yes.
Gets the waifu patch of approval.
I like that. I'll have to give
Gotta
you
do a
a
lot
waifu.
of work. That's just a sketch so far. Still gotta do a lot of work and balancing, but she got the curves and a lot of hair.
Some of you guys watch this on phone. Rosetta, hold that up again.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
For a simple starting sketch, with the subtlety hint of her flipping everyone off.
Thank you. Cool.
You should be glad I stuck the little painter's tape over the nipples before I held it up.
I am thankful. Now, Ironcaster, you've been playing for once a month on 5th edition. You've played earlier games, right?
So I had started with 3.5.
Okay.
And we played about one session of 4th edition. Which is also coincidentally the only system in which I've had a character die.
I'm going to ignore that comment, Parent Head.
We had a chance to look at 4th Ed before it came out. And our group voted in unanimousness we were not going to play it. There were other games that we wanted to try. Shadzar, you don't have to shun him. Paula Patriot enters the chat. Hail, blue Twi'lek women is my favorite thing ever. We'll have to get Makani draws to draw you a blue Twi'lek woman.
Parrot Head!
I say a lot of bad words, Shadzar.
By the way, Parrot Head should recognize that because I based it off one of the pictures he sent me.
Parrot Head sends out the best inspirational photos. That's all I'm really going to say about that.
You mean wanking material?
Nothing wrong with it being what it is. It's disappointing that I'll get a photo from Shadzar and then about a week passes and there's somebody on Instagram trying to chat me up in my DMs. There's like over 100 people waiting for me to answer their message request. They're using the same photo that Parrot Head's using. I know it's not Parrot Head, but these photos must be findable on a search. And some guy in an overseas lab is like, let me get this released to the kids in the room and see if they can swindle any Tommies out of their money.
Wow, Shad, wow.
Shadzar, that is entirely true. And no, Parrot Head, I don't have to readjust my table. I'm wearing sweatpants. Everything's falling to the left today. Well, not falling, but you know what I mean.
Oh no, let's stick to falling. You said it, you're stuck.
That's fine.
So.
But you're having Ironcaster. You're having fun with that campaign, aren't you?
Oh yeah,
This
has been one of the longest games I've had the ability to play in, and it's been a lot of fun just playing my little dwarf.
People are using the same picture. Some of my old memes, Bruce. Thank you, Apollo. Apollo's memes are quite a sight to behold.
I don't know. I'm just sweet, innocent, and pure.
I'm going to ignore the fact you said pure. We've determined that to be a lie.
You can take it biblically. You can
Oh,
take it biblically because I did wait for marriage.
Well, that's fine, yes, but nowadays, our discussion topics.
I
Whoa,
don't know what you're talking about. I'm a good girl.
that sounds like a defensive deflect if I ever heard one.
I'm a good girl.
Hmm.
Not a blink.
I didn't accuse you of being a harlot. I did not accuse you of that.
I don't know what you're saying.
Shadzar says, Rosetta, you would understand if you looked at a Reaper Minis Sophie. Reaper Minis is a figure in their line named Sophie, who she's the queen succubus for all the succubi.
Here, I'm going to do something more innocent. I gotta focus myself. I don't want to get in trouble with you guys.
You're not going to get in trouble over here. You're going to be fine.
No, I mean your channel's gonna get me in trouble.
Oh. Shadzar was talking about mead the other day, and it got me on a thought. I'm like, oh, wait, I got to go check if Stig still
What?
has his Dragonlance
Can I ask
movie
why you
still
were
up.
on a thought? Those things are full of diseases.
Oh no, I'm not on those type of thoughts. I've got a girlfriend. She lives with me. That keeps me out of trouble.
In other words, she kicks your ass if you do anything stupid.
I gave her full authority to, of course.
obviously she does.
Good girl.
I mean, I got these for her. I didn't mean to get these. I did a service for a customer of mine, and
Is this where I skip the bad servicing jokes?
yeah, I pulled this guy's septic tank free from crap and debris, and he
Okay,
gave me 2
Bruce,
boxes of ammo. Yo,
do me a favor. Next time I say I'm trying to skip the bad servicing jokes, do not start the next sentence with the words, I pulled this guy.
oh, okay. But I got 2 boxes of ammo from a customer as a tip. Actually, I got 4 boxes because he gave me 2 boxes of 12 gauge shells too. The thing is that if you notice the color of these look like they're kind of older. So when I go to the range and test out my new Century Arms piece, I have to burn these first. I have to go through these first because they look kind of old, and I don't want to have a piece of ammo that's older than like most of our chat.
Oh, you big baby.
I'm not going to have my gun blown apart because of bad powder. My memes, Rosetta's not bad. She's just drawn that way. Paula Patriot says, my memes can get powerful. I try to turn people, the Geeks and Gamers website into 4chan. You did turn a Geeks and Gamers website into 4chan. Your memes section turned, like, that's the main reason why I go there. I stopped blogging on there because I just have a camera. I don't need to blog if I can just type or just talk into the camera or use my hands.
I don't know if it was an error with the phone type I had. When I tried to get into the Geeks and Gamers site, it would not let me post for anything, even though it said it was registered to let me. It wouldn't let me edit things. It wasn't working right, so I just gave up.
Mm.
I was like, I am not good enough with technology to deal with this much going wrong.
But I like Geeks and Gamers.
Oh, I do.
Go
I love the community and all that.
Yeah.
I just the website was not working right no matter what I did with my phone, and I do not have the technological savvy to fix things like that.
Okay. I think they've got a game on their site now. I'm not certain.
The Fact Blaster.
Yeah.
I just had to correct that so you guys understand. This is not a dig on them at all. It's saying it just was not compatible.
That's understandable. Right now, yeah, Punk Waddle's like Gene G are fun people. I love Gene G, and I like the fact that the majority of my crew online enjoys that crew, even though I've been booted out of their Discord. That's for obvious reasons, but
Oh,
well, yeah, we were talking about various things in the political realm, and apparently my anti-Bolshevik stance is not healthy for that Discord. So, as much as Jeremy and Ryan might be of one mindset, their mods they have are not of that mindset, and that's fine.
I was gonna
GNG has
say
two video
I
games.
wouldn't see Jeremy as the problem. No, there are
No,
several people who work for Jeremy who are pretty far left. I will say.
yeah, yeah,
I wouldn't expect that from Jeremy. I mean, I know he's very Trump, but
yeah. But I mean,
I also sat in his car and said "fuck Trump." So,
Well, yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, all this, in our little sphere of things, our fellowship, it's about the love of the hobby. It's not supposed to be about the politics of it.
correct.
well, for me, it's just because I can't stand either side. I really, really can't. So it's when anybody goes off ranting for either side, I'm sitting there going, oh, "Can you shut the fuck up now?" I'd really like it if you shut the fuck up. That's about my thought process when that happens.
I watch Jeremy and Lethal more than Jay and Kristen. See, I watch Lethal as much as I can. Jeremy, I like his E-Day account because he gets more into the weeds on that one. Jay, I used to be part of Jay's fucking subscriber paid people, and I stopped that. Nothing against Jay, but I thought, I want to buy my own house. Can't really do that if I've got like 50 people that I'm giving $7 a month to.
That's Jay's one of those people tell you straight up, don't sub to him if you can't afford it, if it's going to make your life worse.
I want a car. I want a nice house. Not nice house, but 10.1 acres.
A nice little patch of land.
10.1 acres is what I need for me to be able to just go outside and like put bullets down range. Now, most most county sheriffs will not give you grief if you have a berm on your property, even if it's smaller than that. But where I live, 10.1 acres is the standard. Shadzar got banned from G&G because he said something that made somebody upset. Punk Walls like I watch Jay and Ryan the most. I like watching Ryan. I used to not like Ryan so much. I used to not do that, but as he's gotten out of the Navy and he's gotten to be more of himself. I really started to appreciate him more.
You mean that he's not told what to say as much anymore?
No, he's not.
And I think to a degree, and that's not even necessarily a dig on him. It's just when you're in certain things, you have to fall in line with certain behavior. And I understand why people in the military aren't supposed to speak out against their leaders, stuff like that. So I understand why he was more controlled then. You know?
Well, yeah. Shadzar, I'm going to disagree with you with that. I don't think he got that way when he tried to get in Gina's pants. I don't know what happened between the two of them, but they're obviously good friends, and she still shows up in his videos nowadays. So whatever is going on between Jay and Gina, it's not unhealthy. And apparently her husband is still, or her boyfriend is pretty okay with it because they've still got their relationship going on pretty good. But the fact that Gina shows up in Jay's videos, that makes me happy because we all like Gina. Every single one of us would.
I've heard the rumors about Jay trying to get with her, but I've never seen evidence of it, and it's not how he talks about her in any way, in any place where I am in chats with him.
I wouldn't know. I'm not in chats with him, and I'm not there to watch him 24/7. I just know that she shows up in his videos, and it looks pretty good for us. It's enjoyable to watch. He got holier than thou to everyone. Okay. Jeremy is chill. He commented on my Jeremy outfit video. You did an outfit video for Jeremy, dude. What game did you do that for, Apollo? What game?
Okay, this is This is just a quick sketch to come up with a character design.
And kind of, yeah, it's a little hard to tell.
I know it is. It's on a darker paper.
Rosetta, hold on.
I can see the bust. I can see the hips.
You see the hips and
the butt.
Yeah.
The face and all that'll be detailed more when I do the inking.
You start doing the inking, and that'll show up a lot better. But you got a good start.
These pages are removable, but they go to really fancy little leather journals.
Okay.
So they're darker parchment style, so they are going to take a little more work, but I think they'll be really cute when they're done.
All right. Cool. Apollo says a year ago. Apollo, was that for Ghost Recon? Can girl. No, I'd like to see G&G continue to grow. What they've done, I feel pretty happy about. I used to be a paid member of their website community. I stopped doing that. I pulled back most of my funding except for like super chats. And even that, I've not even been doing that much because I'm serious about buying property. I really want, I just want my own place. After living in an apartment for 5 or 6 years, I'm good.
I know that feeling. I understand it. I'm also getting dizzy.
Why are you getting dizzy, Rosetta?
Because I've been traveling for days in storms.
Do you need to head off for a moment? Or are you good? Or
Yeah, I think I need to lay back down.
Well, I'll tell you what. Before you go lay back down, grab yourself some water. Put it that way you have it by your bedside.
I always have drinks on me.
Rosetta, I'm going to give you the full screen so you can tell people where they can find you over the next couple days.
Now who's going to want to find me now that they're seeing me messy hair like this?
Oh, I'll find you.
You guys know the Find Eagle Rider there. Find the busty chick and you found her. But other than that, Rosem Queen 1 over at Twitter. If you just want to see me take my stress out on trolls all day.
Oh, that's always fun.
Yeah, that is. Okay. Well, Rosetta, thank you. And you have a great day, hon.
You too.
Rosetta, Chadzar. God, Chadzar, that's funny. Rosetta says, I always have drinks on me. Me, no comment. That's how it's supposed to be for the most part, Apollo. And as long as you're making that growth, that's the super part about it.
Oh, I'm just going quick and dirty with this. At this point, my what I'm using for a mixing brush, I'm just using to just quickly get this onto the tentacles for the Alhoon.
Is that a Reaper fig or is that a Wizard's fig?
Oh, this is one of the Wiz Kids.
Okay. Interesting.
That's what they went with, and I decided to lighten it up a bit. Although I still like the dark tentacles.
Yes. There's a friend of mine that pops on a lot of the streams I'm on, Garrett or G-Rock, and his girlfriend that he's now his wife. For the longest time, when there would be a fight that would start in a game, there was a big group they had. We had 8 players in the group, not including me, the GM. And whenever a fight would start, like his wife or girlfriend's character would do fine until fire and tentacles was brought into the game. And then like her dice would just roll like shit afterwards. Like, hey, this guy's using burning hands on you. Roll your reflex save. She rolled 1.
She rolls like an anime character at that point, and then
Yeah.
tentacles happen.
The tentacles they put Evard's black tentacles right under your feet. Roll your reflex save so you can get away. Natural 1. You guys don't see her anymore, but you hear moaning from that pile of tentacles over there.
Oh, jeez.
What the fuck, Bruce? Yeah, and it was there. Speak of the devil. Yeah, she'd cost the party about 20,000 gold every month. Hey Cal, how you doing, sir? Good to see that you've been here for a while. I didn't see the chat. I'm sorry, sir. Yeah, Lethal's Discord has got the 4chan level of Discord that it should have. I love Lethal. I didn't mean to ignore you, Baron. Yeah. I'm fired. There I go.
Where is... There he is. Let that dry a little bit. And kind of slide that in a little bit, and that's what it should look like when it's done.
That's going to be a great fig. Do you have your purple ready or no?
Oh, yeah, I was kind of in the middle of doing some purple. I guess I kind of opted to go for a lighter color on his overrobes.
Okay.
Honestly, I just picked this one up because I wanted something for a Mind Flayer, and I could not find one for the life of me. So he is my stand-in Mind Flayer.
I've got some older Mind Flayer figs from WizKids. I bought 6 of them, and I never thought I'd use them, but I actually have used them quite a bit with my other campaign that I've got, where I have 15th and 16th level characters running around. Bruce, you should look into a 5M server. It's GTA roleplay. Interesting.
Someone was trying to get me to buy GTA 5 yesterday. I have still somehow managed to avoid buying that.
It looks like a good game. The thing is that I stay away from is that it is a game that has made them more money than the Star Wars saga. More money's been generated from GTA 5 than the entirety of Star Wars. And that's why I stay away from it, because I'm like, whoa, whatever they're doing over there, I got to stay away from it, because that looks like a money sink. And if you guys play GTA 5, I hope you have fun with it. The game I'd like to play more is 5M is free, he says. Okay. The game I want to play more is Vermintide.
Oh, yeah. I need to re-download that.
I don't have the first one. I have the second one. I haven't played very much of it. I've played like 3 missions.
I have the second one.
It's good.
Oh. What am I doing? Put them back.
So,
take it back apart.
Your 5e game, I'm assuming that the guy that runs it, he has a really good idea of how he wants to play it. And more than likely, like most 5e 5th edition people I know, they look at the game system like the system's not bad. They actually like the system. They don't use all the supplemental books. They use the basics. They use some third party. They make a lot of stuff up and they roll with it. And it's a good game.
Mm-hmm. He's He's also a fan of Critical Role, which not that there's anything wrong with that.
They've made their money honestly.
Yeah.
They've done a good job in being a money maker. Now, I don't think Matt Mercer. I don't think he's got all the money in the world. I think he probably made about $90,000, maybe. He's got some endorsements that probably help him out a bit, but he made $10 or $20 million with Critical Role, and you have an entire group of like 90 people behind that. So you got to pay your gaffer, your lighting guy, you got to pay people, and that money goes away fast. That's something that people don't understand. Oh my God, it's terrible. They made $10 million. No, I think it's great. I think it's great they made that money. I bought their first campaign setting book and I was not happy with it. But their campaign is fun to watch if you don't have friends on YouTube. Their campaign's at least fun.
Every now and then when I'm in the comic shop, I will buy him just kind of whatever issue of the comics about it are out.
Their campaign book, I didn't know what to expect, but when I got it, it was kind of bland, just to be honest. But if a person is new to the game, and I found somebody who was, and I gave that to them, and they found a lot to enjoy about it because there's a lot of cliched things that Matthew has made work in that campaign, but it's a lot of cliched things. If you don't watch the Critical Role, you like I don't watch all of it, but it's good to fill time with. His group of people he's got on there, probably not my favorite people, but I like Matt Mercer. He doesn't have the firmest grip on his table, but that's fine. He at least puts out a good product on a regular basis.
And he certainly garnered an audience.
Yeah. Well, they even have a soundtrack.
Do they now?
I think they do. I just saw that the Welcome to Wildemount song has been out for like 2 years. And it's actually fairly good. It's a guy on cello ripping through, trying to be like Apocalyptica, early Apocalyptica, instrumental. It's good stuff. And I was enjoying it quite a bit. But I enjoy Critical Role whenever Matt's at his best, when his players are on point and they're wanting to play. One thing I wish I could do with my games is get the focus on the game and not on the side chatter. Matt does a good job with that.
So I will probably go ahead and check out the animated series they're doing for that when it comes out.
I think I will too. It cannot be worse than other things that have came out for the hobby. And Critical Role looks like they've got their minds. They want to do their own system. So I'll probably look into that. I'm not a big fan of 5e. It's not that 5e is terrible. The system itself is solid. But I already have a system that's solid that works for me, and that's why I'm sticking with Pathfinder.
Oh, how Pathfinder has fallen.
Yeah, but I mean, whenever you have like a community manager like Jessica Price, they weren't that high up to begin with, and then Jessica Price went to ArenaNet, and
oh yeah,
I had my experience with her.
Sorry, I didn't mean to
go ahead.
Speak over you.
You're good. Go ahead.
I am a Guild Wars 2 player, so trust me, I am familiar with Jessica Price. I've clocked in like about 5,000 hours in that game easy. Over at ArenaNet.
Yeah.
And the way she wound up leaving was crazy there. And rife with its own little controversy.
Well, I mean, I dealt with her in 2013 or 14 on Paizo's website on Facebook, And I said, here's what I said. I don't know what set you off, but I'm going to stop coming here if you're going to be the bulldog they have in front of their social media, because I really just came to comment on this adventure path, on this portion of it. And she was snapping all over the place, just chewing people's heads off left and right. And I didn't take note at the time, but it was all the guys that were coming in there and getting ripped apart by Jessica Price. I didn't see any female or female identifying people getting ripped apart by Miss Jessica Price. And then she went over to ArenaNet, and then she had her big storm over there. And I'm like, I remember this lady. No. And then there was a t-shirt made about her by Jeremy Hambley from The Quartering. And while he's not my favorite content creator of all time, I did buy the Jessica Price t-shirt, Go Get Woke, Go Broke. And I like that t-shirt still. I love that t-shirt. So it was just a kind of one of those things where I'm like, okay, garbage in, garbage out. And Shadzar's like, has Paizo really fallen? Has it? And I'm like, you think about it, and Paizo, they messed up on some things with Pathfinder. When they put Pathfinder out, they said, we've got the best game ever. And it's like they were trying to pawn off at first, like, this is wholly our creation. Even though we had a 2-hour conversation with Monty Cook on the phone during the phase 1 and phase 2 of designing the game and getting the bugs worked out, they kept saying this is the best game ever. And they're running around Gen Con and Dragon Con with the Pathfinder book held high. Nobody's ever made a book like this before. And all the people from 3E are like, yeah, you just added 2 statistics in it. Other than that, it's our game. What are you saying here? Ironcaster, you bumped the camera, by the way. But we do see your figure stack. Wow. I wasn't trying to make anybody feel insecure with the lack of work they have by me showing all the work that I've got to do still.
I had to mute my microphone. I didn't want to have the crinkling of the plastic bag. But going through, I thought I had a second little dragon mini, but apparently not. So I'll just be going with that little bronze dragon. I just kind of cracked something else out of the... sorry.
Shadzar, my books are on tables. Except in the front room. They're on the couch. And that couch will be going away soon. I'm keeping the books. I'm putting up new shelves next week.
One of my favorite bits of Pathfinder that I absolutely love, it's their goblin. I think it's their mascot character, but it is such a great design.
Pathfinder did some things right. They really did. Their PR sucks, but they did some things right, and I love the way that the goblin looks. I like the identity that the goblins have. If you have the Pathfinder Game Master Guide, there's like 7 or 8 pictures that have goblins in them, and they are crazy cute. And this coming from a guy, I hate using the word cute. You know what's cute? A fucking bunny rabbit. I don't want a monster in my game to be cute, but no, their goblins are cute. Even when they're trying to be scary.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can't do something on my end just to show one off.
Baron G-Rock's like, I need one of those figure holders you got there, Bruce. I think everybody needs one of these figure holders I have. You mean like one of these figs here? One of the more metal figs that Pathfinder released through Reaper.
Yeah, like this little guy.
Yeah, I love those teeth. There's something about that goblin that's like I get happy when I see that.
They're like 80% teeth.
Yeah, they smile. It's all teeth. It's great.
Ah.
Ironcaster, what are you doing throughout the week? If you don't mind me asking, because there are some people that are going to be in my chat that they don't know who you are.
Oh, so I on Tuesdays I do a stream on my channel where I'm going through the original Gundam anime with some other YouTubers. Apologies while I crack this open. And yeah, the whole point was to introduce people to Mobile Suit Gundam for the first time, which has been a lot of fun for some of them to go from a lot of the modern stuff to hear them complain a lot about the state of current shows, just to get to introduce them to something a little older, something that has helped inspire a lot of things today. But yeah, I like talking about robots and that, and I was kind of look around like I need a niche. I need something to make me stand out. So I'm like, yeah, I'll just talk about robots, talk about like Gundam or Transformers or Mazinger.
Mazinger, wasn't that Tranzor Z?
It might be. I'm not as familiar with it.
Okay.
Actually, here's something I can easily grab. Ultraman. Ultraman is great.
Nice. Watched a few episodes of Ultraman. One of my best friends when I was growing up, he grew up in San Diego till he was 10, and he moved over here, and he had like 30 VHS tapes with Ultraman episodes. So that was something we did when we spent the night at his place, was watch Ultraman, which really pissed off. It really pissed off his mom, because his mom's like, "You watch this show all the time, and now your friends watch it too." Yeah, Chadzar Tranzor Z was Mazinger Z in Mexico. I didn't know about it being Mazinger Z. I just saw it on syndication when I was growing up. And that was literally one of those shows that probably should not be shown to little boys, because the female robot that Jessica piloted, she had booby missiles. And then she got
So you're saying it's perfect.
I didn't say men shouldn't watch it. I just said little boys should watch it. So
it's an anime. It's a show that turns boys into men.
Yeah, I hit puberty at a young age, and Jessica had these boob missiles, and then she got an upgrade where she had infinite booby missiles. So like whenever she'd shoot them off before, after she'd shoot one, like there'd be this bare spot on her chest where like her robot had a mastectomy. Whack, gone. And then like after the upgrade, like after 3 or 4 episodes where they're having Jessica help them out fighting things, because 2 robots fighting things is better than 1, she got the upgrade for boob missiles, and it was kind of ridiculous, but I didn't care. I was 9 and I had no idea of what narrative balance was or things like that. It was fun. Something that a lot of cartoons nowadays kind of lack. She was the original Fembot before Britney Spears and Austin Powers. I don't know if that was even Britney Spears. Yeah. Connell Wolf, that was before your time. That was in 1984 to 86 that they showed that show. And the original was on 1970 something or other. About the same time that Battleship Yamato had its first run. And everybody that's in the chat that was born before 1990 knows what I'm talking about, and probably not many people after. it's kind of interesting. We lived in the middle of Illinois. We had two syndicated channels that tried to service us with non-primetime programming. And so, like, the people that were working for 43 and 55 out of Springfield, they would do their best to find content to fill up their afternoons. And Sundays, they even found old Battleship Yamato cartoons. It was like back in the late 70s, early 80s. And then during the week, we'd get either cartoons or Godzilla movies.
I got to watch a lot of like Cartoon Network growing up.
Yeah.
That was what I felt like my babysitter half the time.
We didn't have cable, and this was before cable was a big thing where we were at. Now, cable was huge on the coasts, but in the center of Illinois, I mean, a nice storm knocked out power and everything for like 4 days, and cable wasn't restored to the people that I know that had cable for like 2 weeks because they were busy trying to fix things. So that kind of ruined a lot of it. But we didn't have that growing up when I was growing up. I'm an older guy, I guess. I'm like, wait, you have 8 days till you're 47. Oh, crap. I feel like I'm 20 still. Yeah, wait until you try to move something heavy. Some of you guys don't understand where I'm at right now, but when you get older, you have these arguments with yourself like, that's only 80 pounds. It should be easy for you to move that. Just carry it and go do stuff with it. 80 pounds can be a struggle sometimes if you're not ready for 80 pounds.
I'm like, it'll be fine, as the critical drinker famously says.
Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll buff right
It'll be
out.
fine.
Watched The Matrix Part 4 last night. A friend of mine threw me a Plex server to see it. Not you, Garrett. One of my other friends. And The Matrix Part 4 was probably... It was a movie that shouldn't have been made. Yeah. The ending, like at the very end, this Doogie Howser character, or the guy Neil Patrick Harris, says, no matter what you believe, Neo, we need the Matrix because these people are too stupid to think for themselves. They just need product. They just need something to make them feel comfortable and like they can run to, like they're a drug. And I'm thinking, this movie got more meta as it went on, and I don't think America's ready for this yet.
I only watched The Matrix Reloaded.
You didn't even see the good Matrix.
I know.
Wow.
I was like, yeah, this is pretty fun. This is some crazy nonsense about like getting plugged in the internet.
Shadzar's like, I grew up on Johnny Quest, Herculoids, Space Ghost, Speed Buggy, Archie. Yeah, I grew up on Transor Z and Super Friends because I lived in the middle of nowhere. Connell Wolf knows exactly what I'm talking about. My brain, we're going to get in a fight. Hell yeah, we're getting in a fight. My body's like, oh, hell no. Crumples after 2 punches. Physical altercation? Oh, this is a bad idea. I've been working on this dwarf for about 3 or 4 days, so I need to step it up and get him finished. Calvin Ani's like, we had a TV with bunny ears and all the colors in black and white. All the shades of gray.
Yeah, so I'm kind of experimenting a little bit here and figuring out what I want to do with this little bronze dragon. And what I'm thinking As you can kind of, I test it out on the shoulder there. Probably not the best place to do it, but what the heck? I just want to. I've got this like woodland, I think woodland brown, and then afterwards I'm gonna go over top it with a little dragon gold to try to do a bit of a bronze like effect. Or maybe I should just mix them. I don't know.
It's gonna be a nice looking dragon when you finish that up. Woodland browns are my go-to colors.
I'm sorry, no, it's a nut brown, but still, I gotta kind of I gotta put a few of these away just as I go, so I can not have as big a mess to clean up.
Understand?
And then I'll give his belly a little bit of a silver or something comparable.
Let's see, my afternoons at 3:00 was Transformers. At 3:30, there was another cartoon that popped up, He-Man. At 4, we had Thundercats. At 4:30, it was G.I. Joe. And if the Thundercats episode sucked, we had a game show that came on the other syndicated station, and that was pretty good. That game show was actually pretty solid. I learned more on that game show than I did on all the other game shows. It wasn't Jeopardy either, but it was just a local regional game show, and they had silly little prizes like toasters and small handheld appliances for your kitchen for like under $100. And it was ran by, I think, the Illinois State. Acid Trip for Kids, Vacuum Tubes, Cal. That's what my record player has. I wish, and Blaine's like, I wish I had all the space to keep all the old machines that replaced over the years, but after a while, you have a small place, you have to dump things and make room. Yeah. Connell Wolf was like, Double Dare. We had Double Dare on Saturday mornings. Double Dare was one of those cartoons that had a really bad, nasty history behind it because they never really cleaned up the stage too well. So people would get sick.
I remember hearing about that.
Punk Waddle's like, I went to my parents over Christmas and picked up my old G.I. Joe's, X-Men, and Mask figures. HD TV, you can't plug an Atari up to. No, you can't, Shadzar. And absolutely, Blaine, if you have friends in your life that they've had less than you and you're upgrading and they need something, go ahead. Hell, Garrett helped me put together my first piece-bit computer. Really appreciated that. Convergence and creativity can overcome those problems. Absolutely.
Yeah, my dad's been going on about how like he'll just look around. He'll just like start looking around on Facebook, asking if anyone's looking to get rid of a TV for his little garage den he's working on. And you know, first people are like, "Oh, you're crazy. No one's gonna be just give you a TV." And well, sure enough, people have old stuff they're looking to get rid of.
Ironcaster, or where are you from, bud?
Michigan.
Okay, because you just almost went like full Minnesota on me there.
Oh yeah, it's a bit that Youper, you know.
Oh God, you're gonna have to get Max in here because he's from Minnesota, and you guys would probably start your own language or something. Well, that's interesting, but make sure you get a bar before you leave.
Oh God, one of my favorite Twitter accounts is called like the Midwest versus Everyone. And it's just full of a bunch of that sort of Midwestern humor. or that relatable stuff like, oh, you're trying to get out the door after you visiting someone, or they showed up at your house and you're like wanting to shut down for the night.
Oh yeah, you got a Minnesota goodbye going on, and you can't.
You got to have a half-hour goodbye.
Yeah.
And there's always like those key bits of dialogue. You're like, welp. Like you're trying to like give them the hint, like, hey, I'm kind of ready to head out. Well,
there's another 2 hours. You're not getting back.
Yeah, it's like you just hear that, and it's all right. This is gonna be another 2 hours.
Legion of Myth. I got the link in the chat. Well,
You're all right now.
Half hour, 4 hours. You need another hot bar and a hot dish to take home.
Yeah. Oh, you gotta don't give them the good Tupperware. You gotta keep the Cool Whip container.
Man, wow, that just hit home for me. Wow. I don't know how many times I've been given a Cool Whip container of food.
Oh, my favorite one is someone who's always got the little is got that little metal container that had cookies in it at one point, but it just gets used for all the sewing equipment.
Yes. Max's wife is like,
you can always go in there and get a sewing needle.
You're good, man. We're gonna bring in a friend of mine named Andy.
All right.
You're you too, Andy.
Cheese and crackers, Bobby.
Oh, good golly.
Andy,
Yeah, I'm here. I had to kill my phone. Sorry about that.
Let me sneak past you real quick.
Oi. Yeah, no. Hey, would you like some brewskis to go with that fine cheese and crackers there, Bobby?
Oh, yeah.
In college, I played rugby, and a couple of my roommates were from Minnesota, Canada, Wisconsin, all that surrounding area. So, Jesus. So much of that.
It's like it's in the water.
You can come up to holidays with us, aren't you, Andy? I'm like, no, for the love of God, no.
Well, you got to drink straight from the source. Don't worry, you'll be just fine afterwards.
Actually, I can't bitch too much because who was it? Chad introduced me to that movie, Strange Brew, and that movie just changed my life for the better. I swear to God, it did. And, but yeah. So, what kind of dragon are you painting there?
This is a bronze dragon.
I have the same dragon fig. My daughter got hold of a few of them, and they all look like candy right now. I mean, they're all painted different shades of candy. I'm not going to bitch because, why not? But it's like, that was not the color scheme I was thinking for that one, my love.
1 sec. Someone's calling me in the other room.
You doing pretty well today, Andy?
Recovering from New Year's. We were on for 8 hours. Then
yeah.
I kind of went to bed afterwards, sort of, kind of. No, not really kind of way. then I just was catching up on my sleep. My phone's like, by the way, Bruce is on YouTube. I'm like, well, let's see what he has to say.
See, I'm surprised. It's actually kind of working, these notifications.
There we go. Oh, it was just, complaining about the Detroit Lions. Nothing too important.
I understand. I got the Chicago Bears.
Oh.
Wait, does St. Louis even have a football team?
The Rams? No.
Oh, yeah, but they still don't matter, so never mind.
Well, the Rams are now Los Angeles.
Oh, well.
Now.
But that dichotomy has changed everywhere.
They had to move him out there because LA wanted another team, so you give LA another team.
They're making the last Boy Scout with Bruce Willis, a reboot of it, though.
What?
I'm joking. You know what movie I'm talking about, though, right?
Yeah, Last Boy Scout.
Yeah, Bruce Willis, young Halle Berry, and young everybody else. You know,
I forgot about that movie till about 3 months ago. A friend of mine did a special on it, and we were there talking about it in the chat, and it all hit me at once. Like, oh my God, I actually do remember this movie now, and I was not expecting to remember this movie because it was one of those 80s or early 90s Bruce Willis films.
he still had hair, and I think it was his.
Yeah. Las Vegas, my bad, Parrot Head. Yeah. Noro's like, Max keeps giving out her phone number. He refuses to give his own number. Calpinani, Strange Brew is a good movie. Blaine's like, I got told this 2 hours late. Just call him Jack Murphy, Noro. Oh God. Don't do that. Don't do that. Boomer. Okay. Just call him Jack Murphy. The Raiders are in Las Vegas. Damon Wayne. Yeah. Wasn't that Damon Wayne's first action movie? Or was he in another film that was an action film after that, or is that it? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Honestly, I couldn't tell you.
Okay. I can't remember.
Like, I was busy watching, Hell Comes the Frog Town this week.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah, by the way, that was, my suggestion to a group of people. We're like, yeah, let's go watch this over on Cosmic Fusions. We're like, yeah, let's watch some movies. We'll talk about them. I'm like, hey, I've got a movie to show you guys.
Hell Comes to Frogtown. Okay.
Which, if anyone out there is not familiar with it, it is a Mad Max ripoff. And the only thing that's really worthwhile seeing with it, well, one is Roddy Piper, but there's not really much memorable dialogue in it. It has some really good prosthetics work by the special effects department. Or the makeup, I mean.
You have my interest, and the fact you said Roddy Piper, I might have to watch this.
By the way, you can find it on YouTube completely free.
Really?
Sorry about that. My internet's acting up.
Yeah. Here, I will give you guys a link in the private chat for this movie.
Sweet.
What movie was it? Frogtown?
Hell Comes to Frogtown.
Oh, with Roddy Piper? The last breedable male and the human species?
Yes.
Jesus. He was he was one of my top 10 favorite pro wrestlers as a kid.
Shadzar's like, Bruce, lower your Pornhub down to 480p so Connell doesn't eat all the bandwidth. Hey, Punk Waddle, you have yourself a great day, bud. It was thankful for having you on, man.
How do you not know it's my porn web that's killing my internet? That's awful presumptuous.
Well, Sheds are hit the nail pretty square the other day, so he's been on a roll ever since. And I'm not gonna take him down a peg on that. If he wants to believe that it's my Pornhub, okay, that's fine.
Well, I showed you. You guys are all painting, and I'm about ready to get started on these. Probably not tonight because I'm exhausted still. Play hard, not sleep, so it makes me kind of grumpy. Bruce, I might have showed you these before. I have a friend who has got a 3D printer, and these are soul coins that came out of, was it 5e?
Okay.
5e module. And I have a good friend up here in Creve Coeur area that 3D printed them for me. And I'm going to get them all painted up. And I was planning on giving them out for Christmas. Then I realized I wasn't going to have enough time, or do I like the people enough to try to do all-nighters to get these done? But these were going to be gifts. So they're called soul coins out of a 5e module. And it is absolutely amazing what those 3D printers can do anymore.
I understand that. I'm looking at 3D printers now, but I want to get this AK-47 first.
Priorities.
I mean, I'm not, well, you know my standpoint on guns, but there's definitely a few bows out there I wouldn't mind picking up. New bow. A few new bows I wouldn't mind picking up.
Hold up your soul coin again, will you?
It needs to be, the red needs to be scraped off, and it needs to be primed. I can't remember what the module was called, but it was all 5e.
Okay.
I know it's probably not the Ravenloft Curse of Strahd.
No.
So that's about the only one I know.
You end up going to hell to save a town.
Is it Frogtown?
No, it could have been Frogtown.
You keep things consistent.
And that's what we like around here.
Yeah.
Consistency.
It's
like
out
our
of
paints.
Boulder's Gate area.
Huh.
So
I'm not familiar with the new adventures they've been putting out.
well,
Not on 5e side, at least.
yeah. No, I get it. And I appreciate the game. You know, as I've said in other these, I'll roll whatever my clientele wants me to run. But for the most part, I don't care if I'm at the table. I don't care what we run, as long as it's a good party. And yeah, that's it. Descent to that's the one. That's the module. That's where a good DM and a good party can make even shit look good.
Well, as much as I don't like the 5e quote-unquote crowd, the 5e game I have no problem with itself. It's an inanimate object. It's not what I would prefer to play myself, but if my group of people that I was with, if I was suddenly stuck with them and I couldn't trade them out for people that play the game I want to play, okay, fine. I guess I'm playing 5e.
You know, play. You can. This is my opinion on it. I was never thinking about this while. But you can sit down and play fucking Monopoly, and as long as you got a good group, who fucking cares what you play?
Well, I don't really want to play thirsty sword lesbians. I know that much.
Oh my god, that I was pulling up some excerpts from that on Twitter this week. That is unironically the most hilarious thing I've read.
I've never even heard of it, but you're more engaged in that than I am.
Yeah, Connell's been like sheltered because he stays off the internet for the most part.
Oh,
And, the group that made that is wanting to push people like me out of the hobby, which they can have that opinion. I want to push them off a balcony. That's fine.
That's what it kills me about it. This hobby, this community of ours, is so. Jesus, it's so fucking. What?
It got divisive very fast.
Yeah, I mean, it was originally just a bunch of us sitting in somebody's basement, throw some dice, telling farting dick jokes. That was the best night of the week. Now it's, oh my god. Your orc has to be best friends with the elf, because if it's not, then it's not, it's not safe to play. I'm like, are you
OMG, the way these orcs are written in the book is racist because black people.
I want the person who actually honestly says that to just tell me how a black person lives. Tell me how a black person lives, you piece of shit, reverse racist motherfucker, thinking that we need to compare fantasy races to people in real life. Because that's absolute trollop bullshit.
I mean, I always kind of seen the was it the gnomes? The gnomes of like I'm gonna get so much hate for this one. I should apologize now. I always see the gnomes kind of the Jewish of the D&D races.
See, I always saw the dwarves. If
no, dwarves are German all the way.
Okay, I'll give that to you. The craftsmanship of the dwarves is always touted pretty highly. The gnomes are always touted for their jewel making and their gem work. I could see that the way you're going with that now. I can see that, and I'm not going to say that you're right or you're wrong, but Tolkien put all this stuff in his books first, and
you can see the argument that's being made.
Say again.
You can at least see how they could come to that idea with the argument.
Yeah, I can see it, and I'm not upset. It's just it's a game, and it was based on a piece of fiction.
Now we can all say that the elves are French, because at the end of the day, we all want to say "fuck the French."
Of course.
Drows are the Germans.
Sheds are. I don't think the Drows are Germans.
No, not German. Drows are not Germans. Are Russians? Russians. My bad.
I have a few other ideas on how to properly run Drow, but no, not Germans.
That's why I meant to say Russians.
Or Russians. No, Russians are no. Okay.
No.
If you're Russian, if you're okay, give me your idea of how your Drow culture functions, and I'll see where we can go from there.
I like the traditional. The Drows are a set family hierarchy. One family has got one family is on top of all the other families, sort of like the mob.
So they're Italian.
So I would.
What the Russians do? What?
And by going with the more Italian take on it, where you do have the interplay of noble houses all kind of backstabbing each other over limited land, resources, power, money, wealth, all backstabbing while being controlled by a very powerful church that directs everything, that's Italian. That's not Russian.
The head house could be the house of Putin, as far as
Look, no. If you're doing Russians right, what? A bunch of dirty, poor peasants being kept in line with alcohol? And every once in a while, you have a charismatic asshole who comes through and beats everyone down. But don't worry, everyone's too poor and uneducated to do anything. And you don't have like raiders going out there and just robbing blind everyone. This sounds more like, Southern Italian over like Drow don't come across as this.
No. Yeah, you're right. That's not Russian. That's like Southern Illinois. You're absolutely right.
You know what? If Southern Illinois wants to go up and raid, I don't know, Missouri.
Chicago?
Do you see anybody in Southern Illinois driving that far to go raid somebody? No. The Underdark is too big for that.
Fair enough.
Now, Chicago, I can see going, we are desperate for more cheap labor, driving out into like Wisconsin or Indiana and beating them up and dragging them back to Chicago. That sounds more drow.
Actually, there was that show that was on TV. The what was it? The Amish Mafia. They could be the drow.
God. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna be quiet now. I'm going back to being
Oh, you're good. You're good, Blaine.
Yeah.
Bruce opened up the door by letting me in.
I just came in at the wrong time, I think. That was all.
I think it was the right time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no real wrong time.
Oh yes, there is.
It's just one of those things where I don't understand why people had to compare the fantasy races. Like maybe if you have to do self-inserts for everything, maybe that's why they're doing it. But most normal people don't do that. Most normal people realize this game is going to last just about 8 hours. After that, I've got another week before I play this character or play this game again. No big deal. And for them to turn a iconic bad guy in D&D and do something racist, I mean, it smacked me of like, this is how these people think. They can't get out of their poor political identity for 4 hours to enjoy themselves and people around them.
Well, it's because they stem from an ideology where everything is political, everything is pushed into politics. So everything you do is a reflection of your politics.
I
mean, I hate to bring her up, but Anita Sarkeesian, what is she famous for saying? Everything is racist, everything is sexist, everything is homophobic, and you have to point it all out.
Yeah, she's the perfect Saul Alinsky disciple. Ever since she said that, she's actually had her star rise a little bit. But thankfully, the community of gamers and people that want to play games, we ignore the shit out of her.
And the thing is that the era that when Gamergate was blowing up and when she was popular, all those horrible companies that sprang up and like championed her cause are all now going bankrupt. And the fact is that when you have like Vox and other places screaming, looking for Gamergate 2.0, something that would get them to latch on and create new hate, new outrage, and we're not biting. Nobody's biting. We just don't care anymore, and they're dying. And we're watching them shrivel up and like condense and die off. It'd be so wonderful when the last of these BuzzFeeds and boxes just disappear off into the ether, and we can have gaming again.
And I say this jokingly, kinda.
No,
I'm not serious, but I'd love to watch it. It would be like crack or meth, since I'm in Pekin.
Okay.
Alex Jones DMing.
Oh
no.
gosh.
No. Yes, but no.
It'd be a train wreck.
I want to see Alex Jones play J. Jonah Jameson.
I want to see Alex Jones play Dungeons and Dragons. I don't want him GMing it. I want him to take whatever weird thing I throw at him and have him go, oh shit, this is the most important thing in the entire universe. The Satan is behind this. This is devil. Watch him just run off with this. And here's me going, okay, cool. That was a bartender.
All that, he's going to start screaming, the elves have made the frogs gay.
Oh, no. And here's the bad part about dealing with Alex Jones. Everything he says, as crazy as it is, turns out to be true. And it's hilarious to watch it happen.
Yeah.
So
what
watch
you
him
do
just...
is get him in a game of Vampire the Masquerade.
Oh my God,
Malkavian.
Oh, he is the epitome of a Malkavian who has dementia at 5 dots. He has the ranks of it. Weird. No. I think he actually has gone into Elysian levels of like 6-7 dots. He has transcended sanity, and it's beautiful. And I would pay to watch just him play that game, not GM it, play it.
I would pay to watch Jones run that. I would happily fork the money over. I could be like, I can spend $20 a month on frivolity. Let's go do this, and turn on Alex Jones and you're turning the frogs gay. Yeah,
it's all a drow plot.
You guys ever heard about the spider goat body armor?
Oh, No,
Spider goat, silk body armor. Yeah, it turns out they've been splashing a bunch of spider genetics with the goats so that their milk comes out and it's like spider web. They can
This
use
is
it for body armor.
This is
This is the
obvious.
thing he was
Wrong.
talking
I
about,
know
by
I'm
the way.
gonna
This is
sound like an
100%.
idiot. But isn't
This is
that
a
a thing?
Loth. This is a Loth plot line. I like this.
I don't know, man. I remember reading or hearing somebody saying that they have mixed goats with spiders and they're getting silk out of goat milk. I
Yeah.
never thought it was true. I just remember hearing about it once.
I know. And that's the fun part. Like, this is why I would love to have someone like him in a game, just so that way he'd come up with strange ass theories. I'm only sitting here with a notepad going, no. Keep talking, please. I'm writing down your ideas.
No, you get him in the room to help do the world building for a setting.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Just feed him strange ideas, and then suddenly you're like, oh, okay, so it's obviously a conspiracy between big magic and and suddenly you have like this shadowy cabal of archmage houses who are all having a shadow war in the background, but who are secretly controlling all of the artificers and potion makers across the continent, and it's all part of this entire thing. That's why your potions are so expensive.
Yeah, but you don't realize like they cut him down. They cut him with a bunch of seaweed just to keep the efficiency down.
Oh yeah, and
then the potion makers they go and they pay the bandits to attack you. That's why you got to come back and get the potions. It's all part of the plan.
and it's all there to control you, right? Because all the potion bottles all have icons, so that way it's easier to track you through Scry.
God, I didn't want to hell train wreck. Oh Jesus Christ! And you would have to get his polar opposite on the other side of the fucking table.
Who?
Just to keep the table balanced.
You gotta find somebody who's an opposite to him.
That's what I'm saying. Polar, yeah.
What? Cenk Uygur? Is this who we're gonna put across the other side of the table from him?
No, it's fucking the dirty old man from the 90s, 80s.
But we need somebody who's breathing now, and so if we can get young Turks Cenk Uygur across from Alex Jones as players, and just sit back and like watch the table explode in just sheer weirdness, and I'd be like, "This is good. This is good."
I mean, the only downside is they wouldn't be able
they wouldn't cooperate.
Yeah, they wouldn't stay in the game.
No.
Howard Stern. That's what I'm thinking of. Howard Stern is a bard.
And he is
Bill
so
Maher.
burnt out and useless. Bill Maher would be better because at least he still has a brain attached.
Mm-hmm. I was always the radios the radio programs I used to listen to back in the day was Bob and Tom.
Oh yeah.
yeah. Bob and Tom.
Howard Stern.
Yeah.
Then if I really want to get lied to, really want a local news. But no, Bob and Tom and Howard Stern was my bread and butter. I mean, if anybody ever asks me what's wrong with me, I'll point out 5 different people who were my role models during this era, and like all of them are dead. I'm pretty sure all of them are dead. Just old comedians, George Carlin.
Right.
They got
Robert Kimmel, Ralphie May.
Yeah.
John Panette. I mean,
John Belushi.
Everybody started the decade of 2010 I was listening to. The only one still alive is Doug Stanhope.
Oh,
and
Mitch Hedberg.
Yeah, Mitch Hedberg's on.
Yeah.
And that broke my heart in 2005.
Oh God, he died years ago, but I love the guy. Almost everything he did.
Richard
Oh yeah,
Pryor?
Rob Williams is also another amazing one. Fuck. Sam
Kinison?
Yeah.
Sam Kinison would have been great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kinison
I can't do it. I can do it, but I really shouldn't do it. At least not on.
No, don't. Most of us have headphones on. Do not do the Sam Kinison bit. Most of us have headphones on.
Yeah, that's someone. I'm stopping myself.
Yeah, good. I mean, you're from Peoria area. Of course, you know Sam Kinison. Nobody else does, but
I dated his niece back in high school.
Oh,
Don
shit.
Rickles would be good.
I mean, yeah, Peoria, Illinois, home of
Richard Pryor. Fogelberg.
Jesus. No wonder I'm slightly fucked up.
Yeah, look where we're from. The water supply's kind of crap.
Peoria used to be
from around here, we just get lead.
Yeah, we get
No,
weird. We get
That's
weird alcohol.
Michigan, and that's called Flint. Oh, Rodney Dangerfield. Oh my God. Yeah, he was my role model for years, Parrot Head. Oh my God.
I get no respect.
No respect. No respect at all.
My dad, he didn't love me. He kept a photo of the kid that came with a wallet.
What was that? Caddyshack? Yeah, let's all get drunk and get laid.
Yeah,
Oh
no.
my God.
Oh, my wife is ugly. My wife is so ugly. The doctor has to get drunk before she sees her.
Connell isn't on Discord, but everyone can blame him for it. I am on. Fuck off. I am on Discord. I'm just peeking on who I'm friends with. Thankfully, Bruce
You
isn't.
didn't make the cut. I'm really happy actually with the way the kind of the scales are turning out on this dragon.
Yeah.
Oh, Pryor, man. Pryor's grandma owned a brothel. His mom was a worker at said brothel, and he's a love child of a John. Oh my God, you can't make up that shit, and that thing is gorgeous.
I like how it's catching the color well.
Yeah, I was worried when I wound up mixing the colors together for it that the little bit of like whatever metal flakes are doing for it were just gonna not come through. And luckily it has put my worry at rest. The only question I do have now is how am I gonna color the wings? Am I gonna make it all uniform across, or am I gonna try to
Is that supposed to be a 5e bronze or just whatever bronze you want to paint it?
just whatever bronze I want?
You can always go with like a base color and then kind of like do a gradient across it from the wingtips up towards the base.
Is this a bronze? I got figs for days. Hold on.
I'm waiting for figs to arrive in the mail, so
Right, this is a bronze. This is a bronze from not the last set, from 2014.
I remember that. What's so bad is that we can't even say that on stream now.
Hold on. Seems like you didn't.
yes.
No.
I don't know how to address that one.
I haven't looked at my Discord yet. Should I?
Don't worry, it's just one of the traditional Bob and Tom songs. You probably heard it 100 times if you listen to Bob and Tom.
Bob and Tom.
Is it was it Camel Toe?
Of course.
Oh God.
The Adventures.
Yeah. Yep.
Now this is a different group of people that I usually stream with on Sundays because we're talking Bob and Tom and all the things in Peoria. I'm like, holy cow!
You got a bunch of us on stream. I'm sorry, it's gonna happen.
The Camel Toe song. Oh my God! No. The best is the Pink Clitoris.
Yeah.
It's for Pink Clitoris.
I don't know that one off the top of my head.
Oh, let me see if I can find it. Hold on.
I like the Norfolk Way iron bit, so Norfolk Way Power Industries.
What did they make a song about the sharks?
You know what? They've been on for so long that one's retired, so I'm pretty sure they probably have. And you'd probably be able to like say yes, because
Oh yeah. What was it? They're also their onion, the onion part of the show where they read onion news. Jesus.
I find a lot of people are kind of doing that similar sort of thing now, but with like the Babylon Bee, and one of my other favorites for that sort of thing is harddrive.net.
Here pretty soon. Oh my God! Here pretty soon. The problem with there's nothing wrong with that kind of that. I love the Onion. I love satire news because I think it's amazing.
It's too predictive.
But it's either going into one direction or the other.
Yeah.
And it's not like what it was back in the 90s or in the 80s where just everybody was out for everybody.
Everyone was fair
No.
game.
What?
Where everyone was favorite. Everyone is
It's
Fair game? Yeah. I don't know what happened, but people are starting to take life.
I've got
People are
one
starting
here.
taking everything way too serious.
Yeah, I'm gonna share one of the articles from Hard Drive, which because I think they're pretty good because they do a lot of the pop culture stuff,
Yeah.
and it's just kind of your general humor. Woman who got in a chest after the Queen's Gambit, anxious about starting Breaking Bad. Seattle. A woman who seems inclined to take up the activities portrayed in the program she watches has announced she plans to start Breaking Bad soon, concerning her friends and family.
Oh, wow.
Oh man, are we sure we should let Jenna do that? Asked Chloe Martin after learning of her sister's plans to start the show this weekend. I mean, she got so into chess after the Queen's Gambit, and that's following the short-lived excursion into home makeovers, baking cakes, and about a half dozen other things directly related to her TV viewing habits. This could be bad news, everybody. Suddenly her friends phase, where she insisted on meeting everyone at coffee shops and talking about over everybody, doesn't seem so bad in hindsight. Despite her apparent predilection for aping the things she sees on the screen, Jenna Martin was hopeful she would resist the temptations of partaking the methamphetamines that use factors so highly into Breaking Bad. I got to be careful with this one, that's for sure, she said. Or I could be out a little more than $100 collector's chess set. I'm definitely scared. But this show is just supposed to be so good. And then I could watch Better Call Saul, assuming I don't end up homeless by the end of the 5th season.
Oh. Jeez.
Experts have warned that the highly influential people ought to be careful when choosing which shows, albums, and films they consume. It can sound so ridiculous to those of us privileged enough to not have to worry about it, said Meryl Hawthorne, a sociologist at Ohio State University. But up to a small segment of the population, a single scene can be all it takes to convince someone they should play the guitar or start a high-profile meth-dealing operation. If people aren't careful, it can be really, really dangerous. As of press time, Martin was in the hospital after a rerun of Fear Factor inspired her to eat all the bugs she could find in her driveway.
Yeah, I can believe it.
So, yeah, this is harddrive.net. Well worth a visit if you want to laugh. With articles like, makers of Jumanji settle a $729 billion class action lawsuit. Or, report, this article can run Doom.
Yes.
See, I appreciate that.
See, yes, I can actually play Doom in this article.
Wow, I haven't played that in years.
But yet everything that has a chip runs Doom, including Minecraft.
Tabletop games. Woman with +5 charisma rolls natural 20 on virgin pregnancy lie.
Yo, I can't laugh at that one. I shouldn't laugh at that one, I should say.
You can laugh at it, and you should laugh at it.
I try to be a good Catholic. I suck at it, though, but I do try.
There are no good Catholics. There's just various degrees of failure. That's why you have Sundays, so you can repent and still be sucky at your job, at your religion.
And one last headline before I X out of here. 100-year-old gamer heartbroken he's not allowed to play any board games.
Ooh. Oh, sad for him. That's why Betty White died, because she was no longer able to play.
Man.
Oh.
I was waiting for it. I haven't had a conversation as of yet on this or in my day-to-day dealing where Betty White was not brought up as of yet.
Because it's such an easy target. Too many people were too wrapped up and emotional about the meme of her being, pretty much the Highlander of all old people.
Yeah.
And then suddenly their meme died. And for people who are shallow, desperate, and need something for their petty little lives to have a shining spark of hope because they are that worthless, her death is just like, I'm devastated. Why? How? She's a famous person.
99.
She's 99. She died too soon. What were you expecting? Is she? Are you hoping that she's the emperor? That what? You're just gonna put her on a golden throne so that way we just sacrifice 100 young, 100 young nubile actresses a day to continue to manifest her existence and to light?
Come on now.
I'm okay if you start sacrificing the women off Glee.
You're gonna run out of those. You're gonna run out of them really fast.
Here's my favorite place to go. It's the Duffel Blog.
Yes, Duffel Blog is great.
The VA to offer a free cup of coffee while you wait in line to die. A long-standing tradition of generosity at holidays and limitless support for the troops, the United States Department of Veterans Affairs has announced a new program that will offer a free cup of coffee to each service member while they wait in line to die. We were inspired by the recent Veterans Day promotions run by chair restaurants like Applebee's, offering free service member meals, says the Secretary of Veterans Affairs, Dennis McDonough. When we saw the remarkable amounts of goodwill generated while making double amputees wait in long lines for a free appetizer, a light bulb went off. Officials estimate the program will cost the VA between 0.05 to 0.35 cents per service member, just depending on how many visits to a VA hospital or clinic it takes for them to die. Yes, we are minimizing costs by limiting the program to 1 cup of coffee per visit, but we recognize it may take several visits with multiple levels of care mismanagement until the veteran passes away. The Deputy Secretary of Veteran Affairs, Donald M. Remy confirmed it was not all bad news for the VA's bottom line. Since coffee is comforting, we plan to roll the cost of the program into the palliative care budget and lay off several thousand hospice workers, says Remy. This program may ultimately save the VA millions of dollars while ensuring the dignity of the men and women dying in our hallways and parking lots. The program have been mixed. Sure, I got a crappy cup of coffee while the doctor told me my stage 4 small cell carcinoma wasn't service connected, said Sergeant Bill Evans, a 30-year-old Marine Corps vet who assisted in the Fukushima disaster cleanup of 2011. But when I asked for cream and sugar, I was told I need to submit a written request and would likely receive denial in 48 to 72 months. The doc says I have 4 months to live at the best.
That sounds good, yeah.
As a person who was at a VA hospital who was given remdesivir, and they tried shutting down my kidneys when I had COVID and pneumonia, and I got a staph infection from the fucking equipment I was hooked up to, I can say that I believe the Double Blog is probably right on this. That's probably not the satire article. I need to go to the other side of the website.
I remember going to the VA with my uncle. He served in Vietnam. And he just started to get his prescription filled. All he needed to do was get, a new script so he can go to the local Walgreens. He's like, this should only take maybe an hour or so because we're like first in line. 5 days later, he was finally seen.
That typically is how it works. We are 6 minutes away from hitting 3 hours. I really don't want to go over a 3-hour stream. I know there's some people that have other things going on. I did want to make an appearance over at Red Gaze' channel in the chat, not in the panel. But Connell, are you putting together a list of things you want to cover with your content?
I am working at it. So yeah, I got a small list. How much of it I'm actually, will make in my show I want to talk about this checklist, I don't know. But yeah, I'm working at it.
Okay. Blaine.
Yeah.
Are you working on your items that you want to do when you start doing content?
I am, but I'm again, thesis statement needs to. I need doctorate level defense, so therefore I can withstand abuse from other people. So yeah, working on it.
Okay. Ironcaster, you said you have a show on your program for Tuesday nights, right?
Correct.
And you're doing a
Episode of Gundam.
Okay, Absolute Gundam reviews. Okay.
Gundam. Wow. That's a show I haven't thought about in a while.
It's still going.
I know.
A lot to cover.
Oh, yeah.
We are 30. This week will be episode 30 of a 43 episode series. So hopefully by April I'll be wrapping this up and then I can move on to another show with some other people. I think we might be looking at some X-Men.
Ooh.
As you say that, Bandai will release 2 more series. So
I just want to know, in the old X-Men cartoon was back in the early 70s, why the fuck did Wolverine have an Australian accent?
Because what was it? Crocodile Dundee.
Oh, see, that makes sense.
That wasn't until 85 when Crocodile Dundee came out.
And Pride of the X-Men was like 89.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was riding off they were trying to do it in kind of following the wake of the popularity of
Spider-Man and his amazing friends.
Plus, around that time, I believe the X-Men were also situated in Australia in the outback.
I don't know. I've always been a big X-Men fan. I used to read the comic books, and I've seen most of the most of the cartoon series / animated series because there is one. I haven't got into it for a while, but I'd love to get back into it.
I may have a favorite I may have a favorite mutant.
Oh, Nightcrawler?
Mm-hmm.
Nightcrawler, yeah.
Hey, it's Snortopupus.
The love child between Mystique and Mephisto?
Yes. Originally, it was supposed to be like they were going to have Mystique and Destiny, but people had a problem with the idea that Mystique could change genders and impregnate
somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, those comic books came as much as I'll make the argument that X-Men was the original woke comic book. Even they had their limits. But yeah.
All right.
Oh, this has been fun just to crack out some of the backlog.
Pretty much, it's planned.
The backlog is real, people. Don't let it beat you.
Man, nothing internet is working in the fine state of Pekin. Jesus. The only thing that's working is my laptop.
Happens.
Fucking snow.
Mm-hmm.
Idea, Kai. Why don't me and you start show together, or we just ran at each other over stupid shit?
I don't know. That might work, but I don't know. We'll think about it.
Welcome to your Wednesday night. What the fuck was I thinking?
Oh, yay.
Well, appreciate everybody showing up today for the stream. I want to thank Machini90 for bringing me on about a year ago for his stream he does on Sundays. He is on sabbatical and enjoying himself between seasons. So I thought I'd open up a stream today. Appreciate my panel for being here. Ironcaster, Chimerian, and Connell. Everybody in the chat from the lovely Sherry, Parrot Head, Snortopupus Cuber, Chadzar, Calvinani. Let's see who else is in there. Baron G Rock, Apollo Patriot, Punk Waddle. If you're in a chat and you were here today, and I didn't read your name off, there's nothing personal, but I appreciate you being here. And really, we're going to be doing this again next Sunday as well, about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I look forward to this. And if you want to join in, you have the link that'll be put in the chat. I appreciate everybody for being here. Thank you, guys.
All righty. Have a good weekend.
Take care.
Bye.
Talk.